reminder of his youth and of his excellence and of his place in the pantheon, standing above all others in Mets history, number 41, and a fitting tribute by the Mets players of today, dirt on their right knee. That was Tom Seaver's signature, the drop and drive that resulted in the knee hitting the ground, and the Mets paying tribute in that fashion to the greatest player who's ever worn the Mets orange and blue. I'm Gary Cohen. Keith Hernandez and Ron Darling are alongside. This has been an amazing day since we found out last evening that Tom Seaver had passed away. He was beyond an iconic figure as far as the Mets are concerned, one of the greatest pitchers ever to take a mound. And I know you guys have some personal experience being with Tom Seaver, competing with Tom Seaver, and getting to know him.
Well, Gare, I think from a personal level, what struck me when Tom couldn't come to the 50th anniversary, did not come when they unveiled 41 Seaver Way. We knew that he had dementia and those kind of issues, and I knew that he kind of was heading down the wrong path. My mom had been there, so it's a tough day.
You know, he was like a big brother to me. You know, when I first was called up to the major leagues, you know, the biggest star that ever played for the Mets would ask me to do crossword puzzles, would ask me to play bridge when someone dropped out, asked me to dinner on the road and to his home. And you don't know what that meant to someone like me who was the oldest kid, never had a big brother. It was just a fantastic feeling. And I think we lose him because he's so serious and the pitching's so great. He had an unbelievable boyish charm and an unbelievable prankster also. But, you know, my first thought yesterday when I heard the news, Gary, was incredible sadness, tears, all of those things. And then after that, a lightness, you know, a smile. Because, boy, but talk about a life well led. Doesn't get any better.
He was a beacon, and I think that's the most notable thing. You know, I was 9 years old when Tom Seaver joined the Mets in 1967, and he took a franchise that was only known for losing and almost overnight changed the equation just through the force of his will and his talent and his preparation and his intelligence. And he took a team under his wing with Gil Hodges. That relationship was so important to him and to Gil, and it led to what became a miracle in 1969. But I also got to know Tom Seaver as a fellow broadcaster, which was almost incredible to me, a young Met fan growing up, that all of a sudden Tom Seaver and I were in the same profession. He was on the television, I was on the radio, and I got to know some of that caustic wit that you're talking about.
And, you know, I'm never good at this sort of thing. I get emotional, but Tom and I are together historically. I'm his 3,000th strikeout. I was a part of his no-hitter when he was both as a Cincinnati Red. He should have been as a New York Met. And I got to play with him, which was a thrill for me. To be that first game he took, I played first base for my first game with Tom Seaver on the mound. That was a big thrill for me. And
Gary, if you think about it, after the 1983 season, he was left unprotected. The Chicago White Sox took him. I always felt like he was my guardian angel, because if they didn't, either me or Dwight Gooden, who was 19 years old, would not have made that 1984 team. What was your first thought, Gary, when you heard the news?
Well, my first thought was that, as Keith said, we had known for the last few years that things were not going well for Tom, and so it didn't come as a complete shock. But all I could think about was my childhood and the childhood of so many other Met fans for whom Tom Seaver represented the best of those years, somebody that we could look to as a hero. There aren't many heroes left in the world. Tom Seaver was a hero. It's a sad day, but it's also a day for baseball. How fitting that on the day that Tom Seaver passed away, the Mets beat the Baltimore Orioles, whom the Mets beat in the World Series of 1969. Today it's the Mets and Yankees. We'll have much more on Seaver and the ball game coming right. They're playing the Yankees. Tom Seaver had a Yankee connection, too. He was their broadcaster for several years before coming back to broadcast for the Mets. So it is fitting, perhaps, that the Mets and Yankees are meeting for the final time this season on the day we celebrate the life of Tom Seaver. Yankees took 3 out of 5 at Yankee Stadium last weekend, couple of doubleheaders. Mets won the first 2 games, and then things did not go well from there. Here's the Hyundai starting lineup for the Yankees. DJ LeMahieu has had a big impact since returning from the injured list. Luke Voigt's tied for the Major League lead in home runs. They're still missing many of their stars, particularly Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton. Gleyber Torres getting closer to a return, perhaps as soon as this weekend, but still an unusual Yankee lineup as they sit in second place in the American League East. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by Geico. You can save an extra 15% when you switch by October 7th. Buy your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing. Buy the New York Lottery. Buy Nissan. Take off in a new Nissan before summer ends. Don't miss the Nissan Bottom Line Sales Event. Down by Spectrum. Spectrum Mobile has unlimited talk, text, and data. Save up to 40%. Go to SpectrumMobile.com today. Well, the Met players raising their caps to the number 41 that hangs above the stadium. That is, that's a really nice connection of today with the history of this franchise and the greatest player that the New York Mets have ever produced.
Feel a little different about this 2020 team forever.
And the Met players stood out in line in front of the dugout for, there's the tip of the cap. I think that's wonderful. Wow. They not only stood out there for the moment of silence, but they also stood out there for the video they had of Tom, which I thought was just extraordinary.
Luis Rojas was talking about his father got a hit off Seaver in his rookie year, and Seaver stared him down at first base. He said, that's a lot of confidence.
In fact, the first hit that Seaver gave up in the major leagues was to Luis Rojas' uncle, Matty Alou, had the first ever hit against Tom Seaver.
There's the Toyota numbers for Gesellman. This is a matchup of a pitching game in Yankee Stadium last Saturday. Gesellman went 4 innings, gave up an earned run on 57 pitches.
And your Lexus Metropolitan defense, Todd Frazier, his second start in a row since coming over from Texas. Made a couple nice plays last night in Baltimore. Robinson Chirinos, of course, another piece behind the plate, the veteran catcher. Marisnik, who's come off the IL and now is playing pretty much center field. It's been a platoon in center field now with Brandon Nimmo.
DJ LeMahieu leads off for the Yankees, hitting at .392. And Robert Gesellman's first pitch of the day is on the outside corner for a strike, and we're underway. LeMahieu's hit in 6 straight games. He missed a couple of weeks because of injury, but he has hit the ground running again. Yankees have done great, except when they've played the Tampa Bay Rays. They're 2-8 against Tampa Bay. They are 18-7 against everybody else, including 3-2 against the Mets. And a fly ball out to center. Marisnik back a couple of strides, and he reels it in for the first out. Your T-Mobile ticket to the game. Yankees have hit 56 home runs. That's second in the American League. On base and slugging percentage, also both second in the American League. 20-15 overall, despite missing some of their most important offensive players. And now Luke Voigt, who in the stead of Stanton and Judge and Torres has been the power threat in this Yankee lineup, tied for the Major League lead with 13 home runs, one of them against Robert Gesellman last Saturday. It was the only run Gesellman gave up in his outing at Yankee Stadium, and a check swing foul, 0-1.
It's just a fastball away that he poked over the right field fence, did Luke Voigt.
Well, they're not going to be able to do that in this ballpark. Remember, the Yankees always mold their teams after that with that right field porch in mind.
1-1 to Voigt, who leads the American League in slugging percentage at .670. DHing today. And the curveball from Gazelman misses 2-1. Well, another tribute to Tom Seaver. They have revamped the Citi Field scoreboard to make it look more like the old Shea Stadium scoreboard.
Oh, that's awesome.
Very nice.
Love those lineups on either side.
Weren't they great?
No one's hitting the numbers today in the lineup, I'll tell you that.
No, it's a little far.
Well, it was a little far back in the old days.
It's a little farther now.
This last start, Gazelman had some issues with the first pitch strikes, only 5 out of the 15 batters he faced.
He's gotten first pitch strikes to the first 2 today, but he walks Voit on a 3-1 pitch, and the Yankees have the first base runner. Well, Tampa Bay has stayed in first place in the AL East single-handedly by beating the Yankees head-to-head. 8 out of 10 after taking the series that concluded yesterday with some hard feelings along the way.
Yes.
Well, the Yankees started the season 16-6, 4-9 since then. 3 of those wins came in comeback fashion against the Mets.
Here's Aaron Hicks, who had maybe the biggest hit in that series, the game-tying home run in the first game of the doubleheader on Sunday against Edwin Diaz. And he smashes one to right, but Conforto's right there to pick it off, and the throw back to first base, and Voigt's able to recover and get back. So Hicks lines out to right, and that's the second out. And now Clint Frazier, who's playing right field and hitting cleanup. Frazier has done an outstanding job in a part-time role. Only 51 at-bats, but an OPS over 1,000. Gazelman making his 4th start. The outing against the Yankees, 4 innings, is the longest he's gone. They're hoping for more than that from him today as they stretch both Gazelman and Lugo out. And a ground ball hit slowly, charging Rosario. And he throws out Frazier, and that second straight day against a left-hander. Looks like it may be that way. Mets for the second straight day have just 3 lefties in the lineup. Dominic Smith, who sat yesterday, is back in there today with Robinson Cano getting a day off. Robinson Chirinos making his Mets debut in the 9-hole as the Mets try and do better today against Jay Happ.
Yeah, Land Rover numbers better would be anything. 7 1/3 scoreless innings against the Mets in his last start. Think about this as they go down the stretch. Last 5 years, 2015 to 19, Jay Happ in September and October is 14-2 with a 2 ERA.
Yankee defense. Urshela back in the lineup here. He was on the IL. He can pick it, and there's a Gold Glove right there in LeMahieu. He's a vacuum cleaner. And in the outfield, Brett Gardner, who is a scrapper out there, a Gold Glover. Aaron Hicks and Clint Frazier.
Outfield much quieter than the infield. Jeff McNeil leads off against Happ and hits the first pitch foul down the left side. 0-1. McNeil has come alive the last few days. 4 doubles in the last 3 games. He's got a 6-game hitting streak going. McNeil, Davis, and Conforto to try and get the Mets started. Mets got off to a fast start yesterday in Baltimore, but they have not scored a lot of first-inning runs this year. Just 11 in their first 37 games. Happ 7 1/3 against the Mets last Saturday was his longest outing as a Yankee, now in his 3rd year in the Bronx. Took him just 90 pitches to get through 7 1/3. He was that good.
As soon as he left, Ottavino came in, gave up a home run to Ramos.
That was a game the Yankees wound up winning on a wild pitch in the bottom of the 9th. And that was the start of a Mets 5-game losing streak that they snapped yesterday. Jay Happ, now 37 years old, made his big league debut against the Mets as a Philly 13 years ago. And McNeil takes the sinker low, and it's 2-2.
Not too much mystery as J.D. Davis is on deck with Jay Happ. Mostly fastballs. He'll cut some, he'll sink some, but that and a changeup, occasional breaking ball to lefties.
3 infielders on the right side against McNeil, with third base uncovered.
That's what I've noticed a lot. Jeff has really fouled a lot of balls, into that on-deck circle on the first base side and into the dugout. And had a talk with him today, obviously not face-to-face, over the phone. And he said it in the paper, too, which I find interesting. Now, remember, he's a peculiar hitter. It reminds me a lot of Richie Hebner. Sorry, Gary. But Richie Hebner was a heck of a hitter. And McNeil said he was too upright in his swing and needed to bend at the waist more. And he was running like Ichiro, which we noticed up here, Gare, to first base too much, too soon. And he's trying to get away from that so he can stay in the box, let the ball get deeper. Makes perfect sense.
Just got a piece on that 3-2 pitch. Well, he said that Patrick Mazika, who knows his swing as well as anybody, called him up and said, when you're going well, your head's out over the plate. And
right. Yes.
So he made that adjustment, and the results have followed the last few days.
I asked him, and this is the one thing I found interesting, Gare, is that you've been taking more pitches. Is that a conscious effort for you? I mean, you're one of the big first ball hitters.
He drives this one to right field. Frazier, though, has it measured and makes the catch, 1 out.
Well, that's a good at-bat right there. You got to feel good. You can't. There's 8 gloves out there. And he more or less said, no, I was not consciously trying to take. This is Jeff, of course. He said, I just didn't feel like I was in a position to hit the ball. So it made me think about when I was going bad, when Davey Johnson said I took too many pitches, he put the hit and run on with me to make me swing the bat. But, of course, hit and run is not in today's game. But I found that part very interesting, that he has the intellect and the quickness of mind to say, okay, I'm not in a position to hit that ball. I better take it. Interesting.
Here's J.D. Davis DHing for the second straight day after missing a couple of games. And he takes a fastball for a strike. J.D. at DH and Todd Frazier at third base. And Luis Rojas said before the game today, that's mostly because of Frazier's defense, not because J.D. is not able to play the field at this point. His hip is okay now. Ball and a strike to J.D. Davis was on base 4 times yesterday in Baltimore. 2 hits, a walk, and a hit by pitch. Nice return to the lineup.
Yeah, he got scalded on that hip bone off of Chapman.
Not keeping the ball inside to him. 2 balls and a strike.
There's certain parts of the body that can take a 100-mile-an-hour fastball, and then there are certain parts of the body that it hurts.
Yeah, he got one off the triceps yesterday. That was much better than taking it off the hip bone. That's off Happ, rolling toward the first base line. Happ with time and makes the play. And that's the second out. Bit of a grimace from Happ. Where'd he get him?
Got him right off the cleat, right off the heel, I believe, just by the sound that it made.
Oh, you're right, Ron.
Yeah.
You're quick. Either that or you're quick, but maybe I'm slowing down.
Well, you can just tell by the sound.
Yep.
You know,
you got it. You would know
grimaced.
because you're a pitcher.
Yeah, it's happened.
He grimaced, and it was hard enough that it draws the attention of Aaron Boone and the trainer to make sure he's okay. Looked like he got him on the outside of that foot.
I mean, there's 2 things that happen here. It'll hurt 100%, but if you catch it the wrong way, you would not be able to pitch anyway, so it doesn't matter. If it hits you in a really bad way, you won't be able to pitch. Something will be broke.
Well, they'll hang around and watch him throw a warm-up pitch before they're convinced that he's okay to go.
All good. I don't think it's going to be a hit. Let's see. Well, it could have been.
Oh, God, you're right. Right on the back of the heel, broadside.
Yep.
It's his left foot, so it's his push-off foot, which is probably better, right, Ronnie, than your landing foot?
Absolutely. And catch it on the outside as opposed to the inside where you have that ankle bone.
So 2 hard-hit balls against Happ. Both have resulted in outs, one in a little pain. And now Michael Conforto, who produced a lot of pain for pitchers yesterday, with 4 hits, including 3 extra base hits and 5 runs batted in.
Could have been 3 home runs.
Didn't miss by much. 331 for the year, has him 5th in the National League in batting.
I think if Michael played in Baltimore, that was 30. What did he hit? 32, 33 last year.
33.
It would have been 40.
40 plus.
That's that ballpark, Keith.
Oh, I'm telling you, I've been there.
And Happ takes care of Conforto on 3 pitches. And now he can go rest his foot. 1, 2, 3 after 1, no score. Ball on SNY is brought to you by M&M's Chocolate Candies, the official chocolate of the New York Mets. Celebrate game day with M. Mike Ford will lead off the second against Robert Gazelman. Ford has lost half his number since we last saw him. He was 72 in the Bronx. Now he's 36.
Intermittent fasting, or
I don't know, but obviously the diet's working.
Well, let's see if that number does a better job with change-ups than the other number. He had a hard time with hitting the change-up.
You don't usually get a number promotion when you're hitting under 200. Ford playing first base today, gets a curveball down, and it's 2-1. Gio Urshela on deck, and then Brett Gardner for the Yankees. And Ford hits one into the shift. It's going to be J.D. Davis playing it. That's a 5-3 putout for the first out. Well, here's Gio Urshela, who had the game-winning hit on Sunday in Game 1 of the doubleheader.
And the pitch.
Just kind of muscled that ball into right field. Close play to throw up the line. We weren't quite sure if there was a tag, but there wasn't, of course, on the replay.
Better throw by Michael, and he would have been out at home.
Yes. Well, yes, it throws up the line.
Yeah.
It was on target.
Urshela takes a knee-high strike. Remember, Urshela didn't play in the first couple of games of that series last weekend. He's got a bone spur in his elbow, but he's been able to play through it. What a year he had last year. Completely unexpectedly. After Miguel Andujar got hurt, he took over as the regular third baseman and just had a magnificent season. It's a good curveball by Gazelman, and it's 1-2.
It's 3 curveballs by Gazelman so far. They've been very tidy, very good.
Fish are biting.
Usually think of that as his 4th pitch after his slider and his changeup. He goes to the slider and misses. 2-2 to Urshela. That was last year for Urshela, who had always been known as an outstanding glove guy earlier in his career. Had never hit like this before, and he's kind of picked up where he left off. His OPS around 850 again this year.
It's funny how guys come over to the Yankee organization. They, it's almost like they're like Al Davis and with the Raiders. They pick up these guys, and although Davis picked up veterans, the Yankees pick up players and they blossom.
A little float around into right field, and that's going to fall for a base hit. So Urshela dunks one into right for the first hit of the day for either side.
Well, he went fishing on the breaking ball run, and then he tightened up the strike zone with 2 strikes.
2 strikes, yeah.
Just want to tell you, Keith, that I don't see any resemblance between Gio Urshela and Ted Hendricks.
Yes, the stork.
The stork.
I'm trying to think of.
Maybe he'll put the clown face on. It'll make it look a little better.
Who was the defensive lineman they picked up from Denver? Great guy.
Lyle Alzado.
Lyle Alzado.
Here's Brett Gardner, really struggling to get out of the woods, hitting just 173. And he takes a little bit high. Ball 1.
A very competitor, very competitive player, Brett Gardner.
Just see him banging his leg, really telling himself to stay back.
And it shows that he's not feeling right.
Yeah.
He's a fighter. I like him.
Gardner now 37 years old, the dean of these Yankees. Zellman skips the slider in. It's 2-0.
He's one of the guys that for the Yankees that stays relatively healthy, doesn't get hurt.
It's amazing, right? The oldest guy on the team.
It's like Granderson when he was a Met. Everyone would go down, and he would just keep chugging along.
Some of that's got to be luck, but something has to be in the preparation too, right?
Or it's in the genes, not Levi's.
It's also a threshold. You know, different players have different thresholds of pain.
Yeah, but you look at all the soft tissue injuries that players are suffering now, hamstrings and quads and calves.
Yep. And you get older, Gary, and year in, year out, he's an everyday player, you know, and it's wear and tear. And the older you get, you just, you know, your body starts breaking down.
3-0 to Gardner. And he walked him. And so the Yankees have 2 men on. Second walk given up by Gesellman. And that'll prompt an early visit from Jeremy Hefner.
I'd have to say Hefner is one of the most proactive pitching coaches I've seen in quite some time. He is out there. Now, a lot of it has to do with how many bodies they've been using to start games, but he has no problem going out there early. He must have detected something in Gesellman that he didn't like.
Robinson Chirinos, brand new to the Mets, so this is his first time catching Gesellman.
In the at-bat to Urshela, Gesellman threw a slider that wasn't good, and Chirinos put his right arm up, like, get your arm up. And I was like, how would he know? Like, how would he know that he has to get his arm up?
He's probably watched video.
Yeah, of course.
Talked to Wilson Ramos, talked to Brian Schneider, the catching coach.
Also, he's an outstanding defensive catcher.
And he's 36 years old.
Yeah.
He's been around the block.
Knows it.
Now the Yankee catcher, Kyle Higashioka, who just came back this week off 3 weeks on the injured list with an oblique injury, so only making his 5th start of the year. Gary Sanchez getting the day off, at least for the moment. Urshela at second, Gardner at first with 1 out.
I think you see more athletic catchers in today's game. I mean, Higashioka does not have a body of a catcher of my generation. As a kid growing up, they're always big, burly guys. Yeah. And he's very, very athletic.
Higashioka from Huntington Beach, California, has been in the Yankee organization for 12 years.
We'd all be lucky to be from Huntington Beach, California.
I mean, if I grew up in Huntington Beach, I probably wouldn't have made it in the big leagues.
I'm surprised Kratz didn't get the start today because he caught Happ in those 7 1/3 scoreless innings.
I think they kept Kratz around because they're carrying 3 catchers now, and they only have a 4-man bench, which is unusual because they wanted to catch Davy Garcia next time around. That's hit toward the hole, a base hit for Higashioka. Urshela will go to third and stop there as Dom Smith gets it in. And the Yankees have the bases loaded and 1 out.
Dom's getting a little more confident at charging that baseball, but good hitting here, Keith.
That's a little cutter. Ronnie, you mentioned that spin in the backside when it's a bad breaking ball, how it doesn't really form and it's not really behind the ball.
Right.
That was a great analysis. That was the means I've been watching. I'm only saying because everybody know that I was watching.
Just the you were watching part of it was impressive to me.
Well, it was tough watching that first game. Oh, my goodness.
Bases loaded, 1 out. Here's Tyler Wade hitting 9th in the order and a check swing foul. This was not an easy play for Dom Smith. Ball came up.
I think he's gotten more confident. He really came in. The only advice I would give, Keith, I don't know if you feel the same way, try to play that in front of your body because if it does take a bad hop, it can catch part of your uniform. Stay in front of you.
Well, you know, Dom's a first baseman by trade.
Yeah.
They're really kind of doesn't seem to have affected his at-bats. Excuse me.
1-1 to Wade, who's filling in at shortstop till Gleyber Torres gets back. They should have Torres, they think, by the weekend. The Yankees play a series in Baltimore this weekend, starting with a doubleheader tomorrow, another doubleheader.
Play pretty shallow against Wade. Not a lot of power.
hit a home run against the Mets at Yankee Stadium, the only one he's hit this year. And Gesellman gets him to foul it back, 1-2.
Let's see if Wade can get a runner in from third.
The difficult part is that the Mets are playing at double play depth up the middle, and I think rightfully so, but Wade can fly. And you don't think about this as a pitcher, but a one-hopper back to Gesellman would really work here.
DJ LeMahieu on deck. Bases loaded, 1 out. 1-2 coming to Wade. And the curveball lined to center field for a base hit, and that'll get Urshela in with the first run of the game. Gardner got a green light, but he stopped at third. That was weird. Phil Nevin was waving him in all the way, but Gardner on his own decided not to try to score, and so the Yankees get just 1 run on the play on Tyler Wade's RBI single as Urshela comes in.
Gary, I think he missed third base. That's why he stopped.
Hanging slider there on a 1-2 count. And let's look at Gardner here. A little soft liner. You got to score on that one. So maybe he did miss third, Gary. Ronnie.
Yeah, it looked awkward when he made the turn. Let's see as he gets around third.
Got a bad read, too. He got it. He got it.
Backside of it, he did.
Base is still loaded now for DJ LeMahieu, 1-0 Yankees. And LeMahieu takes a fastball high, 1-0.
I'm wondering if Gardner felt, because he got a bad read in the ball. It was a soft. No one's going to catch that ball. And he hesitated, that he felt he didn't have a chance to score, which means, does he have confidence in his third base coach? I'm just speculating. But you got to take, you got your back's to the play. You got to do what the coach tells you to do.
Early moment of truth for Gesellman, and LeMahieu fouls it off.
He does. He gets it right there. He got it.
Just barely got it. I'm telling you, he reacted as though he wasn't sure by just watching his body language. I could be wrong, of course.
He saw that Nevin was waving him, so it had to be something. LeMahieu flied out his first time up, and he fouls this fastball away, and it's 1-2.
LeMahieu doesn't look right. He's got a little bit of a long swing working right now. And then the 1-2 count for Gesellman here.
Luke Voigt on deck. He could really use a ground ball here.
He's got to pump someone inside because the hits, a lot of the hits he's given in this inning, with 2 strikes, balls away. So they have a 2-strike approach, these Yankee hitters.
This will be his 24th pitch of the inning. And it's off the plate, 2-2.
Well, another look here. We'll take a look at the Nevin here on your lower left, not the on-deck circle, the third base coach. He's waving him in. Now he raised his hands at the stop on. That was a...
I'm not sure. Okay, come on.
That was interesting, right? Just
Good,
the moment's
catch,
hesitation there. And that might have been enough to stop Gardner. 2-2 coming to LeMahieu. And he busts him inside, but he misses. And now a full count with the bases loaded.
Geez, you get 1-2, now you run it to 3-2. What are the odds of a breaking ball here? Remember, LeMahieu is a guy that uses that opposite field. The Mets are shaded to right center in the outfield.
Gardner at third, Higashioka at second, Wade at first with 1 out, a run already in. 3-2 coming from Gesellman, and LeMahieu lifts one to right. That'll get a run in at least. Back goes Conforto. Makes the catch. Gardner tags and scores. Higashioka goes to third. It's a sacrifice fly for DJ LeMahieu, and the Yankees lead 2-0.
Good 2-strike hitting, and Gesellman went to the fastball. 1-2 and threw 3 straight fastballs.
I got a question for you guys.
Yeah.
After David Peterson went 4 innings yesterday, who's the Mets' long man?
Well,
Jason Shreve? I mean, he's capable of going
2 innings
2
plus.
plus.
Yeah.
I guess he would have to be the guy if the Mets need somebody early. Here's Luke Voigt, who walked his first time up.
That no one's up answers your question, Gary.
Well, that was like night before last when Gerardo was getting beat up in the first 2 innings and there was nobody up because they didn't feel as though they had anybody other than Kilome to go to. Well, both those guys are gone now, sent back to the alternate site. Mets are going with only 13 pitchers right now and a 6-man bench.
Got to make one throw to first base with Wade over there.
And Voit pops one foul. Alonso gives it a look, but that'll be out of play. Luke Voit tied for the major league lead in home runs. A lot of traffic at the top of that leaderboard. Fernando Tatis has 13 to lead the National League.
Someone might get to 25.
Mookie Betts hit his 12th last night. A game-tying home run in the bottom of the 9th for the Dodgers.
Zach Gallen was great again last night.
He gave up only one hit. Great pitcher's duel with him and Walker Buehler. Here's the 0-1. Grounded foul. 0-2 to Voit. But the Dodgers just keep winning. That's 9 straight home games they've won, 4 straight overall. They're 28-10. Beating the Diamondbacks, who've now lost 13 of their last 14. About the only positive note for Arizona, Madison Bumgarner is supposed to return and pitch Saturday, and he's going to return against the San Francisco Giants. Yeah. That should be interesting. Zellman trying to negotiate his way through this inning. This will be his 29th pitch of this second inning. And a good stop by Chirinos to save a run. 1-2.
Very nice.
He is very quick.
Very quick, so athletic. Flips that glove over and gets his right hip over there in front of the baseball.
Wilson Ramos and Robinson Chirinos now sharing the catching duties. There's no question Chirinos is a much more athletic catcher back there. And the slider misses from Gesellman, and it's 2-2 to Voit.
It just seems right now it's early in the game, but what we're seeing from Gesellman is getting ahead in the count, and he just can't put it away. And he just strings out the count to 2-2, 3-2.
Yeah. Everything's hard, Keith. You know, there's no shifting in speed.
Another slider off the plate. Now a full count to Voit with Aaron Hicks on deck. Keep in mind, the most pitches Gesellman's thrown in a game this year was his last start. He threw 57. And here he is up over 40 already in the second inning. So Luis Rojas, I'm sure, is doing the calculations in his head about how much bullpen he's going to need today.
Tom Seaver used to say, hitting is timing, pitching is upsetting the timing.
That's a good point.
Wade will run from first. Higashioka at third. 3-2 coming to Voit. And he rips one into left field for a base hit. That'll bring in Higashioka. Wade streaking for third. He's going to be waved around. And he will score on a 2-run double by Luke Voit. And the Yankees have put up a 4 spot here in the second inning and lead 4-0. RBIs number 27 and 28 for Voit.
Voit has been doing some serious damage against the Mets. There's a fastball he just did not get in, and it's up in the strike zone. Too much plate.
You know, when you're pitching against the lineup, and you see Wade, who I talked about before, has great speed, running on the 3-2 pitch, he turns it on and is going to score easily. Really have to identify who you're going to attack. Really, in the 3-2 count, Voit has your number. Hicks, even though he got that big hit against Mets, 7 for his last 40.
Hicks lined out to right his first time up today, and he takes a changeup down for ball 1. So 4 runs and 4 hits for the Yankees here in this second inning, and Chasen Shreve is already on call in the Mets bullpen. Another changeup that misses, and it's 2-0.
Here's the contact from Voit right there. Belt high, inner half, good top hand. And up above, watch. Ball in, you got to go get it. You got to hit it out in front. And as the ball gets towards the outside corner, it goes deeper. The contact goes deeper. That's if you're hitting it where it's pitched.
Well, Shreve is getting ready as fast as he can. Gesellman has already thrown 35 pitches in this second inning. And he's behind on Hicks 3-0 with Clint Frazier on deck. Yeah, that's ball 4, and Gesellman looks like he might be running out of gas. As the third walk that he's issued, and it ending in 2/3.
Well, Ronnie, tell me one thing. As an offense, when you've got a pitcher on the run and it's struggling, you just want to keep the pressure on him. Gesellman's pitching every pitch. He's in a tough position. He's got to get an out, and you don't allow that pitcher to get the rhythm. He's pitching under duress.
That's right.
You saw those starting pitching numbers. Those include Jacob deGrom. I mean, it's been deGrom, and then it's been everybody else on this staff. As the Mets try and fill the holes in their rotation, Gesellman being one of the fillers, having started out on the injured list and then in the bullpen, and then after one relief outing being thrust into the rotation, where he's not gone more than 4 innings in any of his first 3 starts and is unlikely to go that far today. Frazier grounded out to short his first time up, the 9th man up in the inning. And the consequence of all that difficulty the Mets have had in starting pitching is that the Mets have been behind early in just about every game.
Yeah.
They've been outscored in the first 2 innings now, 51-28, which means you're constantly playing from behind. And he is not getting any of his breaking stuff over. 2-1 now to Frazier. About to throw his 40th pitch of this inning.
There's that front foot of Frazier, very pronounced. We've seen a few hitters that do that, that almost turn the soul to facing the pitcher. It was more extreme in Yankee Stadium. Doesn't seem as extreme in today's game.
You can see Gesellman's velocity backing up as this inning goes along.
And he's already got 50 pitches.
40 in this inning.
He's not out of the second. There we go. There's the nice cleats.
3-1 to Frazier with Ford on deck. And he gets a generous call on the outside, and it's 3-2. Could have easily been ball 4. Ford began the inning by grounding out. The only other out in the inning was the LeMahieu sacrifice fly. Voit and Hicks get set to run with 3-2 and 2 down. And Frazier takes it high, and the bases are loaded.
Wow.
And I believe that's going to be it for Robert Gesellman.
Boy, this is 2 nights in a row now where a starter can't. Only giving you 2 innings. This bullpen is going to be very taxed.
Well, that's 4 walks for Gesellman. He's given up 4 hits, 42 pitches in the second inning, and unable to get out of it. An inning and 2/3 for Gesellman. He'll exit. Chase and Shreve will come on, and we'll be right back to Citi Field. SNY Super Slow Motion is brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing. The MLB app is the only place to get all your baseball action, in-game video highlights, live pitch-by-pitch, breaking news, player updates, stat leaderboards, standings, and much more. Download the MLB app today. Well, not a good day at the office for Robert Gesellman.
Well, Robert's got to be feeling pretty low right there. Just like you said, Gary and Ron, he just could not get his breaking ball over. Got ahead in the count a lot, but then just couldn't put the hitters away.
Jason Shreve comes in with the bases loaded and 2 out to face Mike Ford. Shreve last pitched Sunday against the Yankees, a very nice 2 1/3 out of the bullpen, and he'll be asked to do something like that here today.
He's appeared in 2 innings or more, gotten 2 innings or more of work in 6 out of his 8 appearances. It'll be 7 out of 9 after this one.
It's been a very pleasant surprise in that Mets bullpen this year, after pitching only briefly in St. Louis last year. Ford grounded out to the third baseman. Frazier on the right side his first time, and he lifts this down the left field line. A long run for Dom Smith over near the line, and it goes foul out of play.
Well, this is a big at-bat right here. I mean, these are the kind of at-bats I liked, Gary. This kind of situation, you got to, even if it was a left-hander coming in, he's coming in cold, bases loaded. If I get a base hit here or a double, it is 6-7-0, and see you later.
Are we doing a Nats game now? Here's the 0-2, and Ford takes a splitter low and in, 1-2. Referring to our good friend Bob Carpenter. That's his home run.
I like that call.
Is that his home run call, Bob?
See you later.
I like that call. Good.
StatCast AI powered by Google. Voit, Hicks, and Frazier the base runners. 4 runs home for the Yankees in this second inning, and Shreve trying to put an end to it. And another splitter misses, and it's 2-2. Zellman threw 52 pitches over an inning and 2/3. 4 hits, 4 walks, no strikeouts. Already charged with 4 runs and responsible for 3 more. Changing the signs, checking the card. Number 2 on the card, says Chasen. By the way, the 42 pitches Gesellman threw in this inning, the most for any Met pitcher in any inning this season. And Ford again lays off. That just missed, and it's 3-2.
Boy, a little dicey here.
Chad Fairchild, the home plate umpire, hearing a couple of comments from the Mets dugout. It's been a long inning for him, though.
Tight zone. It's been tight since pitch 1.
Now the merry-go-round will be in motion. Voit at third, Hicks at second, Frazier at first will all be running. 3-2 coming to Ford. And he lines it to center right at Marisnik, and that retires the side. So Shreve comes in to get Ford to line out, but 10 Yankees came to bat, and 4 of them scored. 4-0 in the middle of the second. Todd Frazier leads off for the Mets as we go to the bottom of the second. 4-0 Yankees, and he takes a strike from J-Happ. Frazier made his Mets re-debut yesterday and went 0 for 5 in Baltimore. Back in the cleanup spot for the second straight day. Doesn't escape notice that each team has a Frazier hitting cleanup today. Clint for the Yankees, Todd for the Mets. Dom Smith and Pete Alonso to follow as the Mets try and fight back against Happ in the bottom of the second. And a swing and a miss, 1-2. And we are very pleased to have on the phone with us a man who can best talk to us about his memories of the late Tom Seaver, and that is the 1A to Tom's 1 in the Mets rotation, left-hander Jerry Koosman. Jerry, it's Gary, Keith, and Ron in New York. How are you doing?
Hello, guys. It's good to be with you. I'm doing fine, thank you, except we lost a really good pal, and that is very sad.
Jerry, do you remember the first time you met Tom Seaver?
I don't know if I remember the exact time, as no doubt it was in spring training in St. Petersburg at Al Lang Field at the clubhouse, and we were both rookies there in 1967.
And what were your impressions when you first met this ex-Marine from California?
You know, I don't remember. There was, we were all, it's my first time there, his first time there, and so none of us knew each other. So you're meeting a lot of guys So I just don't have those individual memories right now.
Todd Frazier hits a home run as Jerry was talking. His third home run of the year.
Opposite field.
And he gets the Mets on the board as he dunks one in the front row and right.
Jerry, I have a question for you. It's Keith. You were there when Tom was traded. What impact did that have on you, on the team? Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, there was a lot of, scuttlebutt going on in the papers with Tom and Nolan Ryan and et cetera, for a couple months. And it kind of, upset the team. But we were in Atlanta, and after the game, we come into the clubhouse, and that's when we found out that Tom was traded. And it was a very, very sad moment. It was, and I hate to use this word, but it was like being in a morgue. It was just quiet. There's a lot of tears. You're choked up. You can't talk. But, it was very emotional for all of us.
Tom Smith lines up for the first out. Jerry, what was Tom like as a teammate?
Well, he was great. He made a lot of headlines in the paper through his years, and the headline he made here now today is certainly not one that we want to remember, but he was competitive and a fun teammate on the field. Even in the dugout watching the game of weren't played, we'd talk about, how would you pitch that hitter, how he would pitch him, and of course, we had to pitch them different ways. I'm left-handed, he's right-handed, but we always did that type of thing. We had a lot of bets in just between us, like who could saw off Henry Aaron, which neither one of us ever able to do. We had bets like who could saw a hitter off the most times and won at bat. Naturally, we had bets on hitting, who would get the most hits or who could hit the most home runs or something like that. And whenever there was a situation where we knew the manager was looking for a pinch hitter, we'd each go grab a helmet and a bat. The manager would tell us both, sit the hell down. But it was that kind of camaraderie we had, and it was fun in the clubhouse, and he was a leader. He was a spokesman for all of us, and he handled that well, and we were very happy to have him speak for us. And we were a family, like brothers.
Jerry, I'm always fascinated on baseball players come from so many different places and so many different backgrounds, but you can always seem to find a connection with someone. How did you find your connection with Seaver other than pitching?
I don't know. I remember Tom, I asked him about his parents, and where they lived and what they did, and he told me his dad, Charles, sold raisins for Sunkist, and so that kind of interests me because where do you raise raisins and how do you raise them and et cetera. Well, so I learned about that, and that was, I think, Tom's introduction into the grapes, before they become raisins. But that led to talking about country living and farming and, stuff that's away from baseball, away from the big city. And it was just great conversation, different topics.
Fastball right by Alonso there by the J-Hap.
We're talking with Jerry Koosman, who, of course, was Tom Seaver's next in line in the Mets rotation in those glory days, 1969, 1973. Jerry, what'll be your best memory of Tom Seaver?
Oh, gosh. I could go there for days, I guess. But, when you play with someone that long and you live and eat together, etc., you got a lot of memories. I remember a game. This was right after the San Diego Padres came into the league. and he's pitching at Shea Stadium, and I'm charting the game, and he struck out the last 10 hitters, and that's something that has always stuck into my mind, just how great he was throwing that night. I mean, everything was knee-high, great control, and just a super fastball.
And it's a record that still has not been equaled.
Yeah,
all these years later.
And I don't remember for sure, but I would say that he struck out all those guys, probably all of them fastballs.
Jerry, it's been a pleasure having you on. Thank you so much for sharing some memories with us.
Yeah, we're going to miss him dearly. Thank you.
It's the great Jerry Koosman, who's due to have his number retired here right next to his buddy Tom Seaver up in the rafters. 4-1 Yankees as we go to the third. Gio Urshela leads off against Chase and Shreve, who came on to get the final out in the second. Urshela dumped a base into right field to get the Yankee 4-run second inning started against Robert Gazelman. Gazelman, an inning and two-thirds, 4 runs, 4 hits, 4 walks, no strikeouts. You know, it was great talking to Jerry Koosman, and I always have to give Jerry enormous credit because he was a tremendous pitcher in his own right, but always was overshadowed by Seaver, despite the fact that Jerry was as good a big game pitcher as there was in baseball, and it never seemed to bother Koos at all that Seaver, as he said, he was our spokesman. He was the guy who talked, and we liked it that way.
Wow.
Grand one to Urshela. Well, Jake has given him a run, but Seaver has still got the lowest career ERA in franchise history, with Koosman right there in the top 5. How come Seaver gets the color picture and Koos is in black and white?
Because, well, they both played in their 40s.
Big cut by Urshela, 3-2.
What's interesting here, Gary, in '77 when Seaver was traded, that was Joe Frazier was the manager and got fired, and Joe Torre came in. They lost 98 games that year. That was the year of transition. And Tom Seaver was 7-3 in 13 starts.
Before the trade.
Yep. As a Met, right.
And then probably one of the most memorable moments I can recall as a Mets fan was later that summer in August when Seaver came back with the Reds to pitch against the Mets. And Shea Stadium was basically full, and the entire stadium was rooting for Seaver.
And what was the outcome of that game?
Through a complete game.
Through a complete game.
Yeah.
In a victory.
Complete game.
Yeah.
Willie, see you later.
Well.
And that misses badly from Shreve, and Urshela's on with the leadoff walk.
I know I've said this story before, and as we'll look at Tom's numbers here coming up shortly, that one game in, was it 77, he's with the Reds, and he beat us that night, and it was a hot August night, and I've said this a million times, and I was red hot and having my first really, really good year, and I was in a streak. And I had really good first 2 at-bats against him. And he was throwing bullets. And very few guys over my career can throw a knee-high fastball that had the illusion. Oh, boy. Was it an illusion, or was it really happening? That was a high riser. Not a high riser, a low riser. And I came in the dugout after my second at-bat, and I just said, doggone, he's throwing hard. And Lou Brock, in his very subtle way, said, you should have seen him in '69. I mean, he was just smoking it. So I know I've said that story a million times, but it's appropriate that
That's a foul ball. It would have been a double play.
On this night that we bring up all these things about Tom, my experiences against him.
Well, you were there and on the other side when he threw his no-hitter, and you said he didn't have great stuff.
Right, and we laughed about it. We came out, I always took the first pitch, and he threw me a fastball first pitch. And this was coming off the night I just was talking about, a week earlier.
Was it back-to-back games?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, we went from the Western Division, and then we went on the road and played them. And I took the first pitch, and I went, oh, he's just fooling around. There's nothing on it. It was a big watermelon. And I got it the second time. The whole first at-bat was, he just didn't have, it was night and day, Gary, to make a long story short. Second at-bat, I took again just to be sure, and it was another watermelon. And he wound up throwing curveballs.
Gardner lines one, caught by Rosario, throw back to first, and it's dropped by Alonso. Otherwise, they might have had the double play.
I thought it hit Urshela.
Urshela didn't slide.
That would have been a double play.
Don't know why he didn't slide.
No.
You got to dive back here.
If he slides, it would have been a double play.
I think you're right. It hit him in the back.
Ouch. That's a rabbit punch right in the kidney. Yep.
So it never got to Alonso's glove. I guess that's one way to break up a double play.
So I'll get back to the story. He winds up.
You better hurry up. There's only 2 more outs left.
He winds up throwing a no-hitter. And he's throwing slow curves on the outside corner, fastballs and cutters in just to keep me honest, and change-ups and slow curves. And he just knew after the first couple innings he didn't have it. I talked to Tom about it.
Yeah.
And he just became a receiver I had never faced before.
Higashioka fouls it off. You know, when Seaver made that return visit with the Reds in '77, the guy he beat that night was Kuzman. And then Kuzman, the next week, beat Seaver in Cincinnati.
Nice.
So that was not 77, Gary. That was in 1978 that
Right.
Tom threw the no-hitter. So my mistake, I'm off by a year.
Yeah, George Hendricks made the last out. Ground ball to first.
I made the second out. I walked twice that game. I was only 0 for 2, or maybe just one walk because he threw the no-no.
I think he only had two base runners.
He went 9 innings, no hits, 3 walks.
Okay.
Only 3 strikeouts, see, because he didn't have the blazer.
Urshela at first with 1 out. Shreve ahead on Higashioka 1 and 2. Higashioka had a base hit and scored a run in that 4-run second for the Yankees. And Shreve's.
Yeah, Shreve's not sparkling today. He doesn't have his good stuff. So he's trying to figure it out himself.
It seems like his mechanics are out of whack.
He's flying open with that right shoulder. But this is one of the few times we've seen him not spot on.
Well, he's in middle relief here. He's got to hold the fort here. The Mets are only down 4-1. A lot of baseball left.
And the splitter misses down. It's 3-2 to Higashioka with Tyler Wade on deck.
You know what's interesting about Shreve? That's about 6th split finger he's thrown that they've taken. Shreve used to pitch in that Yankee uniform. I find that interesting.
Ah, so I see also in 1977, Joe McDonald was the general manager.
Yes, he was.
It was Whitey's Bobo.
Popped up foul. You know the story about the Seaver trade. They got Pat Zachary and Doug Flynn and Steve Henderson.
Dan Norman.
And, well, Joe McDonald's son, Jody, who's, you know him from his presence as a radio personality.
Yeah.
Jody, who I think was 10 at the time, told his dad that he should get Dan Norman in the trade.
Oh, sorry, Gary.
So that's why Dan Norman was the 4th guy in that trade. It was a kitchen table trade.
Sabermetrics.
Yeah, things have changed a little. Higashioka flies one out to center, and Marisnik's right there waiting for it. And that's the second out.
Nice.
Well, that's Gil Hodges and his pitchers, Kuzman, Seaver, Ryan.
And Gentry's not there. He's missing.
How many games did those 3 win?
How many
among
strikeouts?
the 3 of them?
Yeah,
Strikeouts.
And Ryan had 5,700. Seaver, when he retired, was 3rd on the all-time list in strikeouts.
He's 6th now?
6th.
Kuzman had over 2,500 strikeouts in his career.
Seaver had 3,640, like 2,100 behind Ryan. Wade pops one up in foul ground, and Chirinos watches it go out of play. I remember growing up, Walter Johnson had the strikeout record, 3508, and they
Right.
thought that was one of those records that would never be approached.
Right. Well, what is it? Cy Young has the record for wins. That's pretty secure.
That is 511. I think no one's getting within 200 of that.
For
No.
eternity.
Of course, Seaver got exactly to within 200 wins of Cy Young. Won his 300th game in New York at Yankee Stadium as a member of the Chicago White Sox, with Lindsey Nelson brought over to call the last inning, which I thought was really a special treat.
Carlton Fisk caught, complete game. Don Baylor with the last out.
Curveball in for a strike, and it's 1-2. So Seaver, Ryan, and Kuzman, the three of them together, 857 wins. Ryan won 324, Seaver 311, Kuzman 222.
That 300th victory in Yankee Stadium was a game of the week, or game of the world, we used to call it.
Yeah.
Everyone watched that game.
Wade fouls one back. Well, I mean, that, people remember that the Mets traded Seaver in 77, and that was, the downfall of the franchise for half a decade. But it was just as big a bobble, and, Frank Cashin owned it, that they didn't protect him in the free agent compensation pool, because legitimately, Seaver should have been pitching for the Mets in '84 and should have won his 300th game as a Met. But instead, he won it as a member of the White Sox. Wade had an RBI single his first time, and he goes down swinging on the splitter, and Shreve works around a leadoff walk in the third. Tom Seaver, Rusty Staub, and the guy Tom called my roomie, Buddy Harrelson.
And it's a high fly ball. It should be playable. Nichols is moving over. Nichols is there. The ball game is over. Seaver has won 300. He has become the 17th man in the history of baseball to win 300 games.
The uniform was not good, but the smile was fantastic. 300th victory for Tom Seaver.
Yeah, those were rough uniforms.
Ahmed Rosario leading off for the Mets in the home third. Mets finally scored against Jay Happ in the second on Todd Frazier's opposite field home run. And Rosario skips over the slider, and it's 1-1. Robinson Chirinos on deck, and then Jeff McNeil for the Mets in the home third. That's hit hard, and a base hit for Rosario to start off the bottom of the third. So the Mets get the leadoff man on. Robinson Chirinos coming up, and we check in with Steve Gelb. Steve?
So, Gary, just how good was Tom Seaver? Well, he held Hank Aaron to a .205 batting average against in his career, and I spoke with Hank Aaron today about Tom Seaver. Hank told me, simply put, Tom Seaver is the best pitcher I ever faced in my career. He was every bit as advertised, threw so dang hard, but really had every pitch you could want as a pitcher and could put the pitches anywhere he wanted. But what Hank really wanted to talk about was his friendship with Seaver, because he said, back in that day, a lot of pitchers of that caliber, they were intimidating. They didn't want to be your friend. They'd try and knock you down. But that wasn't Seaver. He'd beat you 1-0, and then the next day he'd come over laughing, smiling. He'd want to talk to you. And Seaver and Hank Aaron developed a really nice friendship where Hank used to go over to Seaver's house when the Braves were in New York. They would have dinner. He did that throughout the remainder of Seaver's life, going out to Napa and having those dinners, and said that in those later days, Hank Aaron would walk in the door and Seaver would say, "Oh, look, it's the guy who had 4 home runs off me." Hank Aaron would then reply, "Oh, it's the guy that got me out at least 4 times," and they'd have some great laughs. But Hank Aaron said that for the remainder of his life, when he goes to California, the only place he's going to want to go is Tom Seaver's house because of the great, great memories that he had with his friend.
Wow. That's some great stuff. You know, in a different universe, and I know Met fans certainly don't want to hear this, but Tom Seaver and Hank Aaron could have been teammates. Robinson Chirinos grounds one to third. Quick toss by Urshela, and LeMahieu with the turn for the 5-4-3 double play. And there are two out. You know, the Braves originally signed Tom Seaver, only to have the contract voided because his season had already begun at the University of Southern California. And that's how the Mets wound up getting to pick Seaver's name out of a hat. What's amazing in retrospect is that there were only 3 teams whose names were in that hat: the Phillies, the Indians, and the Mets. The other 16 major league teams at the time all declined to be part of that lottery.
50,000, right? You had to come up with the $50,000 to get in that lottery.
Right, because that's what the Braves had originally signed him for. And, you know, the contract was voided, but he was declared ineligible to play college ball because he had signed a pro contract, so he was kind of in no man's land in a catch-22, and they agreed to allow that lottery to happen, and it's the luckiest slip of paper ever associated with the Mets.
Hank said, we messed that one up.
Should have made it 100.
Just that to sign him the previous week, it would have worked out fine. McNeil lined out to right his first time up. McNeil takes one the other way, and he's got a base hit. So McNeil serves one into left for the Mets' third hit against Happ. And Jeff swinging the bat better today again.
Well, 2 line drives. There's two strikes, a little flick of the wrist.
And you can tell by the hits allowed and the hard hits off Happ, a little more vulnerable today than he was in Yankee Stadium when he threw 7 1/3 scoreless.
Well, Steve, I think it's great that you got to talk to Hank Aaron about Tom Seaver. That's really fantastic stuff.
Yeah, it was. I mean, listen, you wish it was under better circumstances, but to have that type of a conversation, listening to one of the greatest to ever play, talk about someone who he viewed to be the greatest pitcher he ever faced, it was a pretty remarkable moment for me. And I'll say this, too. He also told a great story about after the Braves lost the NLCS in 1969. He said he was waiting to get back on a plane back to Atlanta, and a scout came up to him in the airport and said, "Oh, wait till you see these Orioles. These Orioles are so good." And Hank said, "Wait till these Orioles see those Mets. I'm just really happy that I don't need to face that pitching staff again for a little while."
Except Aaron owned them.
Yeah, he did. And the Mets, that series against the Braves, the Mets did not pitch very well. Seaver didn't pitch great in Game 1. Kuzman didn't pitch great in Game 2. And Gentry didn't pitch great in Game 3. It was Nolan Ryan who came out of the bullpen and was the star in that Game 3 victory. But they pitched wonderfully against the Orioles in the World Series that followed.
Guys, I just want to add one thing, too, a little bit of thanks, because I know this won't surprise you guys, but to get in touch with Hank Aaron, not the easiest thing in the world, and the person who was able to make that connection, Jay Horwitz. Wasn't the Braves, it was Jay Horwitz who was able to find a way in.
Every player that's ever played is 6 degrees of separation from Jay Horwitz.
Means you got to buy 2 more books, Steve.
I've already got 2 of them.
J.D. Davis takes a strike, and it's 3-1. Well, thank you to Jay, and thank you to Hank Aaron for giving Steve the time. By the way, Hank Aaron is one of the nicest human beings that has ever been created. McNeil at first with 2 out. Mets down 4-1 in the third. And J.D. takes a knee-high strike, 3-2.
Michael Conforto would be next.
Looking at some of the numbers, Rusty Staub off Seaver for his career, 282 with 3 home runs and 78 at bats.
Tommy Hutton.
Yeah.
Hutton owned him.
Yes.
He never tires of talking about that. 3-2. And that's inside ball 4, and the Mets have 2 men on. And Conforto will come to the plate as the tying run.
Happ thought that was a strike. Chad Fairchild's got a tight strike zone.
I thought it missed in.
Yeah. Signs everywhere. It's a sign.
I'll go with the second, number 2.
Yeah, you got it, Keith. That's why you
missed.
hit 300 in your career.
So, Willie McCovey off Mr. Seaver in 77 at career at bats, 260 with 6 home runs, 16 RBIs, struck out 18 times.
Here's Conforto, who struck out on 3 pitches his first time. Michael hit a 2-run homer off a left-hander, John Means, yesterday. 4 of his 6 home runs now have come against lefties. He grounds this one down to first, though. And Ford will take it himself, and that gets Happ through trouble in the 3rd. Fiserv and SNY salute today's veteran of the game, along with those service members who made the ultimate sacrifice to defend our nation and serve the military. Ticket plan for a limited time. Receive 10% bonus credit toward concessions and parking. For tickets, visit Mets.com/plans or call 718-507-TIXX. 4th inning, top of the batting order, DJ LeMahieu facing Chasen Shreve, who's already worked an inning and a 3rd in relief.
This is a big inning here. Top of the lineup, strength of the Yankees. Shreve's got to get through them.
LeMahieu, Voit, and Hicks, the 3 scheduled hitters. Shreve threw a fastball by LeMahieu, and it's 1-1. There's the Verizon player profile on DJ LeMahieu, former batting champ, 3-time Gold Glove Award winner, had a career year with the Yankees last year. Shreve paints the outside corner, and it's 1-2. Shreve looked a little out of whack during that 3rd inning, but he appears to have made something of an adjustment. Came on in the 2nd when Robert Gazelman was bounced. And LeMahieu fouls off the splitter. You know, you talk about this all the time, guys. That's the kind of pitch that makes LeMahieu a guy who can hit 330.
That's right.
Because that is a pitch that most people do not put into play or foul off.
To me, whenever I see him up, I always feel like he's got a little longer bat than most players.
Yes,
right.
It's amazing you said that. I was just thinking the same thing, that he's got a long bat.
What was yours? 34.5
I
inches?
used a 34.5, and 35 was usually the norm. 35 inches.
Yeah.
In length.
It looks longer than 35.
It looks longer than 35.
Is that an illusion, or is it just because he has such great plate coverage?
I don't know. We could be dead wrong. It just, his bat always looks like it's long to me. He's a big guy. Strong.
And he's never tried to hit home runs. Had a terrific home run season last year because, well, it was his first year playing in Yankee Stadium, and his swing is tailored to go to right. He had 26 home runs last year. Shreve misses with a splitter, and it's 3-2.
I'm just thinking, Gary Keith, there must have been, on his way up, being a 6'4" athlete, see the highest averages since 2015, a lot of Rockies on there, of course. There must have been coaches that tried to alter his approach because of his height and his size.
That's
to
what
try
happened.
to hit the ball to the ballpark.
That's what happened to Dave Magadan.
Yeah.
You know, big guy they expected to hit for power, never did. That's hit sharply to short, snagged nicely by Rosario on high. And the throw is true to get LeMahieu.
Nice play, nice backhand.
Rosario's made a couple of nice plays already today.
That's a rare ball that you'll see LeMahieu pull. It was interesting in the background watching Pete saunter over to first base and get himself set up for the throw.
So 1 out and nobody on. Now Luke Voigt, who doubled in 2 runs his last time up. Takes the breaking ball off the plate for ball 1.
Frazier's got that funny front leg kick. He kind of hangs it up there. It's
Yeah, Voigt.
Voigt,
Yeah,
excuse me,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
You used a great descriptive word, hovers.
Yes. Watch his front foot on his stride, folks. It's very. I don't think anybody else does it like him. I don't see how he can stay balanced, but he does. He gets the foot down, but it's got a little extra movement. Most people just come straight up, but look at him. He's kind of a little bit of a. You really can't tell. You can tell more at its uniqueness from the center field camera.
So you're saying there's not much knee bend, right? It's more of a straight
Yes,
leg.
yes. It's different.
Good splitter by Shreve, and it's 2-2.
I've never seen anybody have a leg kick like that.
You know who it kind of looks like if you watch old film from the other side of the plate? Mel Ott.
Yeah, Mel had
where that leg came more straight up than bent.
when Mel Ott had that big hitch too, didn't he? He loved to wrap it around that foul pole at the Polo Grounds.
He did it at a very young age too.
Yes, he did. Little guy, right?
He wasn't big. But then players in general are a lot bigger now.
Yes. So I would have think Mel Ott would have done well at Fenway.
Mel Ott was 5'9", 170. Boyd hits one out to center. Plenty of room for Marisnik. And so Shreve has set down the first two here in the fourth. Shreve has been such an important piece for this Mets bullpen.
This is the overhead. Watch the front leg. It almost skims the inside corner. Most guys just lift directly up and hang. Darryl Strawberry comes to mind. For all you Met fans, you remember that.
Bobby Bonilla had that big leg kick.
You know, when I see Shreve and all the good work he's done this year, Gary, the starting pitching had been a little stronger. His work would have been done in the 6th and 7th innings as opposed to early in games.
Aaron Hicks pops one up into shallow right, and on comes Conforto. And Shreve with a 1-2-3 top of the fourth. Tom Seaver, his beloved wife, Nancy. We're thinking of Nancy today.
Yes, we are.
Boy, he was happy in that vineyard, thinking about his 2 daughters also.
His grandchildren. Great family. Great wine. I mean, it's a whole nother piece to Tom Seaver. Scott Frazier leads off in the home fourth. That when he decided that the baseball part of his life was over and that he was going to devote himself to another undertaking, he went at it as full bore as anybody could. He was in those vineyards every day.
It was a passion.
Tending to his grapes, learning everything that he possibly could about this new pursuit. That's ripped into left field and a base hit for Frazier, and it gets by Gardner. It goes to the wall, and Frazier will get to second base. So Todd, after a home run his first time up today, that he hit the other way, and this time yanks a double that gets by Gardner in left.
Well, Mets looking to get a little lift from Todd. Very streak hitter. Here's the play by Gardner. He usually makes that play.
He didn't have to cut it off. He could have played it a little deeper. Todd wasn't going to have a hustle double. Do you think he was? Yeah.
I don't think he got there. I think he just...
So the Mets with their fourth hit against Happ, one more than they had against him in 7 1/3 last Saturday. And now Dom Smith, who lined out to Urshela his first time up. And he hits this one sharply on the ground, but right at LeMahieu. That'll get Frazier over to third, 1 out.
Did you notice? Here's a side view of Frazier's double. And, you know, Todd is an unorthodox hitter. This is an off-speed slider. And he always lets go with one hand. He keeps his hands back and enables him to hit the off-speed pitch.
He hits the ball hard lunging better than anybody I know of.
I remember last year we saw him with one hand hit a ball out of the ballpark here at Citi Field.
Infield back, Yankees with a 3-run lead. Alonso trying to get that runner in from third with 1 out. Pete struck out his first time up today after hitting a home run yesterday in Baltimore, but has had a devil of a time getting runners in from third.
Just peck away. Get this runner in.
Look how they're just setting up inside, pitching him up and in. And I know I read in the paper, Pete, around 3 or 4 days ago, and he felt like he was hitting unlucky. Okay. He feels like he's having good swings. I think he is. But the big thing I took out of his quotes were, I've been fouling a lot of balls back. Well, if you're fouling a lot of balls back...
And he goes down swinging here on high fastballs. So Happ gets exactly what he needs, his fourth strikeout, 2 out.
We've shown that graphic a lot, Keith. He's just chasing a lot of pitches out of strike zone.
There's no question. He's discouraged and he's pressing. Look at the high target. And this is out of the strike zone. But this is where they've been going after him and upstairs. And the point I want to make about what I found the most interesting part of that article I read in the paper, in his quote, I'm fouling balls back. Well, if I went through a period where I was fouling balls back, I would immediately get in BP and focus on the top half of the ball, hitting a line drive. Let's go. Oh boy.
Chad Fairchild's been getting an earful all day from that Mets dugout.
Rabbit ears.
And finally telling
Can't be Pete.
group in pinstripes that he's had enough.
No, the Luis Rojas and the staff have been on him hard from the beginning.
Remember, there's most of the umpires now are regional too, so you see a lot of the same crews.
Yeah. That's true. And familiarity can sometimes breed contempt.
That's very true, Garrett, but it doesn't happen with us.
That's because we have a good, healthy offseason, Keith. Longer this year than ever. Marisnik flies one foul, and it's 1-2.
But the point I'm trying to make, I'll get back to it, is focus on the top half of the ball in BP. When you go to play the game, you got to forget everything. And, I saw Pete looking at a photograph in Baltimore in the middle of a game at his swing. Throw all that stuff away. Do your 4 at-bats, watch the pitcher work, see how, in Pete's case, see how he's pitching the right-hand hitters. Do all that other work before and after a game.
2-2 to Marisnik.
It's been a frustrating year for him. I've been there early in my career, and this is early in Pete's major league career. It's only his second season.
And a truncated season, which I think puts more pressure on him, too.
It's just such a bizarre year.
It's less time to recover.
Yep.
Marisnik drives one deep left field. Back goes Gardner. It's over his head and off the base of the wall.
Frazier is in, and Marisnik pulls into second base with an RBI double, a bolt off the bat of Jake Marisnik to get the Mets closer. It's now 4-2.
A big two-out RBI right there. Breaking ball down. Hap's been hurt this inning with two sliders down in the strike zone to right-hand hitters. The leadoff double by Frazier, and now this one to Marisnik.
Big two-out hit by Jake.
First double of the year for Marisnik, his third RBI. He's had just 20 at-bats, but he has been a nice spark plug since getting back from the hamstring injury last weekend. So now the tying run at the plate with Rosario, who had a base hit his first time up. And Jay Happ not being quite as much of a mystery today as he was 5 days ago in the Bronx. Shut the Mets out for 7 1/3 that day. He's now given up 2 runs and 5 hits over 3 2/3 today. And the Mets have had a number of very hard hit balls. Apple was upset earlier this season about his usage because he has a contract that would vest if he made 10 starts or threw 62 innings this year. Doesn't look like either one of those things is going to happen. And he nicks the outside corner to Rosario, maybe 1-1. It's the one place you've been able to steal a strike today is that outside corner against the right-hand batters for Chad Fairchild. Jerry's Familia up in the Mets bullpen after Chase and Shreve delivered another quality 2 1/3 innings of relief today. Second time in a row for Shreve that he's done that. Check out the Spectrum high-speed pitch.
We pick whoever we want to use, right?
I mean, they could have put Gazelman in there. He would have won that battle. Didn't win a lot of other battles today.
Hap more of a thrower today, even with his veteran status, not darting the corners, just throwing a lot of fastballs.
Toward the hole, and that goes through for a base hit. Marisnik around third. He'll come in to score. Ahmed Rosario with his second hit of the day. This one drives in a run, and the Mets have pulled back to within a run. It's now 4-3 Yankees.
Well, good hitting by Rosario. He ripped a base hit, his first at bat into left field, and here goes the other way on a sinker down and away. Right on the outside corner, going right with it. And there's your contact towards the end of the bat. But nevertheless, look at how his body was driving towards the pitcher.
And they had him played up the middle with LeMahieu, which opened up that hole for him.
You know, it makes a little sense, Gary. That was a changeup, so most hitters from the right side are going to be more apt to pull that pitch. He hit it the other way.
So Rosario now the tying run at first with 2 out, and Robinson Chirinos comes up for the second time. Chirinos grounded into a double play in his first at bat as a Met in the third. It's been a big struggle for Chirinos offensively so far this year. He was hitting just .119 in Texas, but he is a power threat at the plate. 17 home runs last year for Houston, 85 home runs over his 9 years in the big leagues. But without a home run this year through 43 at bats.
I can't remember when the Mets have put together a 2-out rally like this. Driven in runs twice. And it's a big positive.
Rosario still has not stolen a base this year. He's been caught in his only attempt. That's we're down 4-0 in this game. They've crept to within a run. 2 out hits by Marisnik and Rosario, bringing 2 runs home here in the fourth. Boyd and Happ continues to struggle with his command. And the Yankee bullpen, nobody's throwing yet, but they're going to be getting loose momentarily as Matt Blake, the pitching coach, goes out to talk to Happ.
I mean, whenever you see a pitcher, Ottavino, who came in the game after Happ left the game at Yankee Stadium, now up, getting loose. Not throwing yet, just getting his arm loose. But usually you don't see this from a veteran pitcher, but he continues to miss in the same spot. Usually older pitchers kind of make an adjustment.
Ronnie, it's such a puzzling game sometimes.
Yeah.
You got the same pitcher against the same team on his regular rest, and he looks like a completely different guy.
Well, he does. One, he doesn't have the control he had in Yankee Stadium. Two, he didn't have to face Todd Frazier over there in Yankee Stadium. Todd's done a lot of business today with a home run and a double, 2 runs scored. But he is a control artist. When he has his control, he is going to give you a good quality game. When he doesn't, he's going to have an early exit.
That's at 4 left-hand hitters in the lineup against Happ last week. They have 3 in the lineup today. But it's been the right-hand hitters who've gotten them. Frazier, Marisnick, Rosario with the big hits.
Again, that right side of the infield wide open.
And that just missed to Chirinos, and it's 3-0.
Well, this would be a good time for one of those bombs you were talking about, Gary.
3-0 hit sign. Chirinos has a home run in his career against Happ, 4 for 13. Taking all the way, 3-1. Jeff McNeil would be next. The inning began with a Frazier double. He moved to third on Dom Smith's ground out. Looked like Happ had escaped trouble when he struck out Alonso on 3 pitches, but Marisnick and Rosario each driving in a 2-out run. .37-year-old Jay Happ against 36-year-old Robinson Chirinos. And it's drilled to left field, and that's a base hit. Robinson Chirinos has his first hit as a Met, and the inning continues. 4th hit of the inning for New York.
Seventh hit of the game. Another fastball. You fall behind. You got to come with the fastball. Happ's just looking for an out here just to get out of this inning. Oh, nice level cut. Big stride.
7, 8, and 9 hitters for the Mets today. Marisnick, Rosario, and Chirinos are combined 4 for 6. Still nobody throwing in the Yankee bullpen.
Which is amazing.
Happ's thrown 21 pitches in this inning. He'll take on Jeff McNeil, who's hit the ball hard twice today, lined out to right field and singled to left. Tying run Rosario at second. Chirinos at first with 2 down. Mets with 2 runs home here in the 4th. And McNeil watches the sinker low, ball 1. See the shift against McNeil with the shortstop hole open.
Jeff swinging the bat so much better right now. I think he might be on his way to a hot streak. We'll see.
Today he's hitting a 7th straight game. And he pulls that one foul.
Ball just coming off the bat a little better. Isn't it, Keith? That's what happens when you make better contact.
I see Washington tied up the Phils in the 5th, 4-4.
Phillies have been winning almost every day. They've won 8 out of 9. They'll be here tomorrow night to start a 4-game series against the Mets.
It's a big series, obviously. There's not much time left, and Phillies are in front, second place. It's a 4-game set.
McNeil lines one into center field for a base hit, and that'll tie up the game. Rosario scores, Chirinos to third. Jeff McNeil with an RBI single, and the Mets have come from 4 runs down to draw even. It's 4-4 in the 4th.
Outstanding. Peck away.
Well, I have not seen this from the Mets this year. They've had a devil of a time driving in runs. And no one up in the pen, no right-hander up. Here's Chirinos, and he runs well. Easily goes first to third.
That is 4 straight 2-out hits for the Mets. And the nature of this game has changed in a hurry. So now J.D. Davis will be the 8th man up in the inning. 3 runs home. First and third and 2 out. J.D. is at a comebacker off the foot of Happ. And then he drew a walk in the third.
Very surprised a right-hander was not up. McNeil starting to get hot. Fastball trying to go down in and gets it out over the plate. And look how he hits it more impressively over the shortstop's head.
Albert Abreu getting up just now in the Yankee bullpen. And J.D. takes the fastball high, and it's 1-1.
Again, same spot, missing almost entirely with those fastballs.
26 pitches in this inning for Happ. 77 through 3 2/3. Different day, very different result. That's now with 8 hits against Happ. And Davis had a good cut at that fastball and fouled it back. 1-2.
Gary, one of the toughest things you asked me before, back-to-back games against the same team, always a difficult hill.
Didn't seem to bother DeGrom until the 4th time in a row against the Marlins.
Well, we know now to put that in there with the analytics.
Don't face the same team 4 times in a row.
Right.
It only happens every 91 years. Now Happ ahead on Davis, 1-2. And J.D. watches one in the dirt. Good stop by Higashioka to keep Chirinos in third. 2-2.
Flips the glove over. That was the key. Caught the bottom of the glove and the leg protector. It's one of those spiked fastballs that are very difficult for catchers. Gets on them in a hurry.
That was almost as much lucky as good for Higashioka. Chirinos at third, McNeil at first with 2 out. 2-2 to J.D. And he fouls back a fastball. Well, we've got some rather exciting pitching matchups coming up over the week against the Phillies, highlighted by Sunday's DeGrom-Nola head-to-head. Zach Wheeler, who has been brilliant so far for the Phillies, will pitch the Labor Day game on Monday. Orsello and Arrieta, both of whom have been struggling, started off tomorrow night. Seth Lugo goes Saturday against the rookie Spencer Howard.
Want to go back in on Davis.
Again, the 2-2. And again, he fouls it off.
I mean, that pitch is middle. He cannot get the ball in or down.
"30 pitches in this inning for Happ. Probably be the end of the line for him one way or the other.
We've had over a 40-pitch inning, and now it'll be over a 30-pitch inning.
Zellman threw 42 pitches in the second without even completing that inning. This will be the 7th pitch of the at-bat to Davis. And J.D. flies one out to the shallow center. And Hicks jogs in under it and puts it away to retire the side. But you remember it, this classic delivery, drop and drive, dirt on the right knee.
Perfect fielding position. Look at how he leans back on that back. Like a marionette, the glove comes to the knee.
I can tell you that in my part of Queens, every kid tried to pitch this way. Every kid. And for most of us, it didn't go very well.
Got those skinny legs and skinny tushies, and you were trying to pitch like that? What were you thinking?
Well, you know, the funny thing about Seaver is Jerry's Familia comes out to pitch the 5th inning. He did not make his high school team till his senior year because he was a little scrawny guy.
Yeah.
And then he started lifting boxes of raisins, and then he went into the Marines, gained 3 inches and about 50 pounds, and all of a sudden he was that big-legged pitcher that we came to know. Clint Frazier leads off in the 5th inning for the Yankees and takes ball 1. What a great tribute by the Mets players of 2020. All came out of the dugout today with dirt on their right knee in tribute to number 41.
That's fantastic.
I mean, you could not ask for a better, more knowing tribute to a particular player.
Now, Tom would always hit that back knee, but he always wore a knee pad underneath his uniform to protect that knee from the abuse that it would take on the mound. He would always have a knee pad on and the thermal underwear, bottoms.
Really?
Whether it was 100 degrees or 40 degrees.
I didn't know that.
Yes, always. I remember once I got enough gumption to go up and ask him. He said, listen, thermals are like thermoses. It'll keep the cold out. It'll keep the hot in. Like,
with the thick thermals or the thin?
No, thin
I guess.
ones. Yes, thin ones.
I always wondered about that. How does it know?
Exactly. Hey, well, Seaver's wearing it. They better know.
It better behave, is what you say. Frazier's grounded out and walked 0 for 1. And he grounds this one out to shortstop. And Rosario takes care of Frazier, 1 away. There were so many great Seaver moments, but here are some of them. The Jimmy Qualls game in 1969 when the Mets really started to come of age in that July series with the Cubs. Game 4, remember he lost Game 1 of the World Series in Baltimore, and he actually wrote a book about Game 4 called The Perfect Game. And just the very fact that he made it through 10 innings, because he was gassed in the 9th and 10th, and fought his way through, and the Mets won it in the bottom of the 10th. Of course, the 19 strikeout game against the Padres, striking out 10 in a row, a record that still stands. And then with the Cardinals, his no-hitter, and with the White Sox, with the Reds, his no-hitter, with the White Sox, his 300th win. Not so notable for Met fans. Good splitter by Familia. It's 1-1 to Mike Ford.
If you notice there, Keith, he had Spalding spikes and a Spalding glove. I had never seen either until I saw them on Seaver and asked him on the last day of the season if he'd give me both the glove and spikes, and he did. Still have the spikes.
Good for you.
That's pulled into the Chef. Diving stop by Alonso, and from his knee throws behind Familia, and Ford is safe at first. Well, Jerry's tried to do the dance step after the errant throw by Alonso. Great stop by Pete, but the throw off line and Ford able to reach.
Well, let's see how they roll this. Here's the play. Beautiful backhand. The ball came up. Just not a good throw behind the pitcher. He's out. It could be an E3, on a throw.
Did he not get a good grip? Because usually he fires that ball to the pitcher.
Right.
I think that ball stuck in his hand like a changeup.
Yeah.
And Familia tried his best, but Ford was across the bag.
They haven't made a rule yet on the play.
So the tie-breaking run aboard with 1 out, and Gio Urshela the batter. Urshela has blooped a single and drawn a walk, so he's been on base twice.
He did everything right. He got there as quick as he could, broke it down before first base because you don't want to run through the bag. Makes it a difficult target.
And it's going to be an E3 on the scoring, and I agree.
You have to separate the stop from the throw. First error for either side today. And Urshela fouls back the fastball. By the way, in that graphic about Seaver's greatest games, they mentioned the imperfect game against the Cubs in '69. Seaver 3 times as a Met took no-hitters into the 9th inning. Against the Padres, Leron Lee broke it up in the 9th inning, and against the Cubs, Joe Wallace broke it up at Wrigley Field. Now, that was a scoreless game in the bottom of the 9th, so he would have had to continue on into the 10th in that game had he gotten through 9 with the no-hitter. But he came close. He was, in fact, before Santana, He was the only Met ever to take a no-hit bid into the 9th inning, and he did it 3 times.
Joe Wallace, gosh, that's a blast from the past there. It's a crazy center fielder for the Cubs.
That's what they called him, Crazy Joe Wallace.
Absolutely nuts.
I know Crazy Joe Walsh, but I didn't know Crazy Joe Wallace.
I don't think Joe Wallace was much of a singer. No gold records hanging on the wall. Urshela chops one foul, and it's 2-2. Well, Chase and Shreve did a great job in relief for the Mets. Again, 2 1/3 innings, no runs, no hits, a walk, a strikeout. Worked around some mechanical issues to get himself pointed in the right direction. And got the game into the middle innings for Luis Rojas after Robert Gazelman failed to get out of the 2nd inning. The Mets actually have their rotation planned for the next 3 days. I can't remember the last time they've been able to look that far ahead. Porcello tomorrow, Lugo Saturday, DeGrom Sunday. 2-2 coming, and Urshela fouls that one off. By the way, just to clarify on DeGrom, because he pitched on Monday, which means on regular rest he could go Saturday, but they opted to put Lugo Saturday and DeGrom Sunday. If DeGrom had pitched Saturday, then his following start he would have had an extra day's rest anyway, because the Mets are off on Thursday. So they opted to keep Lugo in something more of a rhythm, give DeGrom the extra day this time, and then they'll probably pitch him every 5th day the rest of the way.
And he'll still make the same amount of starts.
Five more starts for DeGrom. Urshela, after fouling that ball off his leg, the trainer came out of the dugout a couple of steps, but Urshela waved him off. And Urshela drives one to left, but right at Dom Smith. Urshela with a bullet. But Dom in the right place for the 2nd out. It's amazing what a tough out Urshela has become for a guy who was a defensive specialist for most of his career.
We've seen that, though. We've seen some hitters that have struggled in the past, and they have a lot different techniques all around the country on learning your craft of hitting, and sometimes something will stick, for these guys.
Look at J.D. Martinez.
Yeah.
Look at Justin Turner, guys who mid-career became superstars.
The Orioles shortstop, who just missed, or DH in that series.
Oh, Iglesias, yeah. There's Brett Gardner, who's walked in line to short, and he takes a knee-high fastball for a strike. Well, those are some of the career highs for Brett Gardner, including last year, a career-high 28 home runs at age 36. And Familia painting the inside corner for a strike, and it's 0-2.
You can really hear the grunts of Familia up here in our booth. They signed Gardner to a 4-year contract. Around the same time, they signed Jacoby Ellsbury to a longer contract, and it's Gardner who produced and wasn't injured.
More zeros in Ellsbury's contract, but more production in Gardner's resume, at least as a Yankee. Familia bounces that slider, and it's 1-2. Jerry's last pitch in the 2nd game on Sunday, a hitless inning against the Yankees.
Nice block. Beautifully done. Glove down. Can't go underneath. Then use the body. Just smother.
Robinson Chirinos in his Mets debut, catching all these guys for the first time. 1-2 coming. And a chopper. In comes McNeil. Makes the sidearm throw in time, and that retires the. Another successful inning for Jerry's. Familia working around Alonso's error and setting the Yankees down in the top of the 5th. Michael Conforto will lead off the home 5th, and surprisingly, Jay Happ is still in this game after a 31-pitch 4th inning. perhaps just to face Conforto.
And also, Dominic Smith is the third hitter in this inning, so I think Aaron Boone, just trying to get one more out of him.
Yeah, they used a lot of bullpen against the Rays guys, too.
And they have a doubleheader tomorrow against the Orioles.
There you go.
So Familia, he was talking to someone on the bench, probably Jeremy Hefner. And see, he's talking about hand position. Sometimes you get lazy when you're a sinker baller and you get that hand kind of lays down horizontally. You need to really be on top of that ball. And, of course, Jay Reese knows that.
I think that was Chirinos he was talking to.
Chirinos, okay.
Because, Chirinos still trying to learn this stuff, and maybe Jay Reese saying, this is what happens to me when I get a little lazy with my slider.
Yeah, well, I will tell you, his sinker was as good as I've seen it that inning.
Conforto whacks one toward the middle, but there's where Wade is playing, and he throws out Conforto, 1 out. Driver on the majors presented by Audi. Some of his teammates talking about the late Tom Seaver. Kuzman noting the leadership. Cranepool noting the maturity. And Grody, his catcher. What a great relationship that was. Talking about the competitiveness of the man who led the Mets to the promised land in 1969.
I mean, I can see Tom doing that. Whole team is celebrating that they reached 500, and him just not having any part of that.
It's Jerry Grody. What a consummate defensive catcher he was. Great arm, great demeanor. Frazier turns one foul.
Interesting, they're letting Hap face Frazier again. I mean, Grody, from what I've heard, Gary, and I don't know if you got to see this as a fan, he could be tough, though.
Irascible.
Oh, okay.
Oh, he could be extremely tough.
Yeah.
But, it was a young pitching staff, and they needed that toughness. I mean, they had a couple of veterans. They had Don Cardwell, who was the veteran member of the starting staff. They had Cal Kuntz in the bullpen, but mostly it was young pitchers, Seaver and Kuzman and Gentry and Ryan. These were babies. And Grody was a taskmaster.
Well, there's Jerry's numbers, and I made the mistake of my first at bat, and there was Jerry Grody behind the plate. I remember at Shea Stadium as a 20-year-old, and I said hi to him, and he snarled at me.
There you go.
That's funny.
Frazier pulls one over the bagger. Urshela with the backhand play, and the throw right on target. There's Gio Urshela showing off his defensive skills. Terrific play for the second out.
Boy, he's got a glove. And he knew Todd doesn't run that great, and he didn't have to. He just threw a little arc over there into the throw. Beautiful play.
Do you know how hard it is to throw the ball that far with the perfect arc and have it land while you're running away from the throw?
That's a Nolan Arenado play right
Did you see the reaction of Mike Ford, the first baseman?
Yeah.
He just shook his head like, I can't believe he made that play. Can't believe it. That was great.
So they left Tap in, and he's retired the first two. Now he faces Dom Smith with the bases empty. Adam Ottavino is up in the bullpen for the Yankees, but he's just watching right now as Hap tries to finish this bottom of the fifth.
He might not get another hitter, though, if he doesn't retire Smith.
You got right-hand hitters to follow. And Dom lines one right to LeMahieu, and that retires the side. So Hap has a 1-2-3. All right, thanks, Eamon. Not just the loss, but some pain for the Cubs in that game. Ian Happ fouling a ball straight down that came up and hit him in the eye, and he was forced to leave that game.
Did you see what Reynolds did when he hit the home run? As he was running around the bases, he did the rock the baby.
Oh, nice.
Only usually see that in hoops.
Kyle Higashioka leading off in the 6th against Jerry's Familia, who worked a hitless 5th. That's bullpen has been terrific so far. Shreve and Familia have combined for 3 1/3 no hits. Yankees able to nurse Jay Happ through that 5th inning. And it's on the outside corner, perfectly placed by Familia to get Higashioka for the first out in the 6th. We check in with Steve.
Gary, as we continue to talk about Tom Seaver, only 3 players in baseball history faced Tom Seaver more than Larry Bowa did. He faced Seaver 138 times. And he told me today that he used to stay up late at night with some anxiety the night before he had to face Tom Seaver. Said the Phillies clubhouse had a running joke saying if you go 0 for 3 with a walk tomorrow against Seaver, you had a good night. But that's just how good Seaver was. And the thing that Bowa kept talking about, and this is something that Keith mentioned, was that fastball. He said he's the only guy he's ever faced where the fastball looked like it was starting below your knees and then it would end up right at your knees or right above your knees. It looked like it had that ride to it. He said that the best way he could describe Tom Seaver is that he was Greg Maddux, except he threw high 90s.
That's good praise right there. McNeil throws out Wade for the 2nd out.
I think the great story he told me, too, about a specific at-bat against Seaver was sometime in the early 70s. He said there were 2 runners on base. One of the runners was at third base, and he stepped into the box, and you guys were discussing Jerry Grody. And Grody just looked up at him and said, hey, just so you know, he's coming right after you. Fastball's this at-bat. And Bowa goes, great, all right, I know what's coming. And he still couldn't hit it. He said he knew, and he did. He came after me with just fastballs, still made an out because that fastball just had so much life to it, so much ride on it.
He threw me one time in St. Louis when I was struggling. It was 75, and I was about to get sent down, and the bases were loaded, 2 outs, full count, and he dropped a hammer on me down and in and struck me out swinging. And I was too dumb to realize what a great pitch it was, and was snapped off the table. And Willie Crawford came up to me had my head down in the locker, and I told Tom this story, and Tom, of course, but anyway, yes. And Crawford said, Keith, not too many guys could get even a piece of that pitch.
2-1 to LeMahieu.
Larry Bowa happens to be one of my favorite guys, but it didn't always start that way. If you played against Bowa, and I did early in my career, he was pesky and a pain in the you-know-what. So
chatterbox.
And so you didn't really like him. And then he got traded to the Mets. And he came over and he was sitting on the bench and he was effervescent and talking baseball and so into the game. I remember sitting next to him and saying, God, you're a really good guy. He said, yeah, I am. That was great.
Marisnick squeezes it. 2 hitless innings for Familia in relief to keep it a 4-4 game going to the bottom.
With Adam, you're going to get tons of strikeouts. You will get some walks. And his last appearance against the Mets, he gave up that home run to Wilson Ramos.
Pete Alonso, first man to face him. Alonso struck out twice against Happ today, and he hits the first pitch on the ground for LeMahieu to handle. 1 pitch and 1 out for Ottavino. Well, Jake Marisnick had an RBI double his last time up today after surviving an encounter with the center field fence at Camden Yards yesterday.
Let me introduce myself. I'm the center field wall. Oh, boy. That was, thank goodness it was padded. They had that padding. And he had his face kind
turned
of
just enough.
Didn't go, pancake straight into it.
I'd like to know the fate of his sunglasses. Did somebody fix them, or those are dead forever?
Gelbsy, come on.
Jake smoked one his last time off the base of the fence in left field to drive in a run during the Mets' 3-run 4th that tied the game. So Happ was a far cry from what he was last Saturday. Today he threw 92 pitches over 5 innings, 4 runs, 8 hits, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts, a home run. Miguel Castro made his Mets debut yesterday, ready to do it again today. And Check swing foul, 1-2. Ahmed Rosario waits on deck. Mets trying to get a split of the season series with the Yankees before sending each other on their merry way. That's allowed the Phillies coming in here over the weekend. Yankees are going to Baltimore. The Mets start the day 2 games out of postseason position with 23 to play, including today. That's hit the other way, and LeMahieu able to snag it on the line, and that's the second out. Not hit hard, but LeMahieu had some ground to cover, and he got there for the second out.
Well, not only does he own gold, but LeMahieu is one of those players that always seems to be in the right spot. A very heady ball player.
So 2 out and nobody on. Now Ahmed Rosario, who's 2 for 2 today. Single to left, single to right. He's driven on a run. He's scored a run. And he takes a slider for a strike.
That's that bad slider that you get a strike with. Let me take that back. That's the one that was a better one, the first pitch. But the second one was just a little spin on it, but it stayed on the inside corner.
The backup slider?
It's yeah, you know what it is? It's just an ugly, we used to call it an ugly slider, ugly breaking ball. And the hitter takes it because it's so ugly that you just, you know what, I'm not going to swing at that. And it sometimes catches the top of the zone, and everyone's disappointed except the pitcher.
That's all that matters.
That's
It's Christmas morning for the pitcher. Rosario tries to lay off and does. Paul Martin with the call down at first, 1-2.
Notice Ottavino when he versus the right-handers, when he gets ahead, he'll drop down even a little more on that breaking ball.
One-two coming. And he struck him out with the slider. So Ottavino with the 1-2. Adam Ottavino with the 1-2-3, bottom of the 6th for the Yankees.
I mean, look at that slider coming out with that spin. Starts on the inside corner, ends up 3 inches off the outside corner. That's why he has the strikeout totals he does. Look at how he steps across his body and kind of like he has it on a string. No chance for the right-handed hitter.
That's a great shot of it.
Really good.
Well, Miguel Castro will come on to pitch for the Mets as we go to the 7th.
Castro's been here 2 days, and he gets the assignment to the heart of the Yankee order here in the 7th.
Not a good matchup for him. The first man he'll face, Luke Voit, against Castro, 3 for 5 with 2 home runs. His orange Oriole shoes have disappeared, and the blue Mets shoes have taken their place. Voit had a 2-run double back in the second, 1 for 2 and a walk today. And Castro starts him off with a slider, no swing, ball 1. Mets bullpen has been terrific today. Chase and Shreve 2 1/3. Jerry's Familia 2 innings, neither one allowed a run or a hit. It'll be Voit, then Aaron Hicks, and Clint Frazier for the Yankees in the 7th. Against Castro, the Mets got from the Orioles at the trading deadline.
A little more pressure on this game and this appearance by Mr. Castro.
Came into a lopsided game yesterday in Baltimore against his old team. And he gets the call on the outside corner, and it's 2-1.
Mr. Fairchild's got that wide strike zone on the outside part of the plate against right-handers. Gives that pitcher around 2 inches extra plate.
And Voit nubs one down to first, and Alonso is going to take it himself to retire Voit 1 away. Let's check in with the studio. Eamon McEnany has another game break brought to you by the New York Lottery. Eamon. Michael Taylor with the go-ahead home run against the newly acquired David Phelps. So the Phillies bullpen continues to struggle. 5-4 Nats in the seventh. Here's Aaron Hicks, who's 0 for 2 in a walk today. Turning around to bat right-handed after batting left-handed after batting right-handed against Chase and Shreve. It was 4 days ago that the Yankees rallied in the last inning with 2 out. Aaron Hicks with the game-tying home run against Edwin Diaz. Just high enough to clear the wall in right field at Yankee Stadium. And Castro misses down with a slider, 2-1. Miguel Castro started out his career in Toronto, Colorado, Baltimore. Still a young pitcher, just 25 years old. Made his big league debut when he was 20. And Hicks fouls away the fastball at 97, and it's 2-2. Watch SNY Mets games on the go on any device. Just visit SNY.TV or download the NBC Sports app today for live streaming coverage of every SNY Mets game. Tony DeFrancesco positioning the infielders with Gary DiSarcina, who normally does that, away. And that just missed. Castro thought he had it. See that little leg kick.
The only issue is there's 1 out, so I don't know where he was going.
I think he was just ready to do some celebrating.
Okay.
Fairchild saw that pitch as low.
You know, he called that pitch on Luke Voigt for a strike on the 2-0 count.
And there's ball 4. I think it's different, though, on the other side of the plate, right?
Yeah.
With a right-hand hitter up, when Fairchild sets up inside, he's giving that outside corner, but he's not giving that corner when he's set up on the inside against the left-hand batter.
Yeah, because it's hitting him right in the mask. So
a 1-out walk to Hicks, his umpiring crew. And now Clint Frazier, who's 0 for 2 in a walk today. Frazier's had 1 career at bat against Castro. He hit a home run. And the fastball at 100 miles an hour nicks the outside corner.
And there's that little generous outside corner strike that Fairchild has been giving the whole game.
If you're a pitcher, Ronnie,
Yeah.
in that situation where you're getting consistently a little extra on that outside corner against right-hand batters, do you take advantage of that?
yeah, you keep pounding it if he's going to give it to you. I just don't think of Castro, because I've not seen him enough, Gary, as a control guy. He's more a stuff guy. But if you're a guy who's got great control, every time you have to steal a strike, you go in that area.
Well, he's gotten a fastball and a slider on the outside corner to get ahead 2 strikes on Frazier with Mike Ford on deck. 0-2. And he just missed 1-2. You usually see a pitcher hold the ball looking in for the sign with a changeup or a split grip.
Or they spin it around in their hands. He just holds it with all. That's how you hold the baseball when you're 6, right? With your whole hand, because your fingers are too small.
It's a palm ball. And he struck him out. Got him with the changeup. And Castro fans Frazier for the second out. So what's the grip for his changeup? Not quite the whole hand.
No, but coming off those fingers, very loose grip. That's why that changeup was 93 miles per hour.
Yeah, he's a stuff guy. He's got good stuff.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Got good movement on his fastball. I like his fastball when he tries to pitch a lefty inside. It got good movement starting way in. And
the strikeout numbers have spiked this year. There goes Hicks. The throw by Chirinos is high, and Hicks stays on the bag, and he has a stolen base. His first stolen base attempt of the year. And the Yankees have the tie-breaking run in scoring position.
Well, Chirinos didn't really have a chance. Big jump from Hicks.
Sure did.
Tough pitch to throw on. Still had an accurate throw there.
Smart move by Hicks. Hasn't been stealing bases. Good time to do it early in the count. Tie ball game late. Giving your guy now a chance to drive him in.
McNeil and Hicks. McNeil held the tag on a little longer. They both know each other, not from baseball, I think from junior golf. Both grew up in the same area.
Let's see if Ford gets a little steady diet of change-ups.
Ford is 0 for 3 today. And he takes a slider low and in, 2-0. Ford is facing Castro for the first time. I wonder if Ford feels lighter with the lower number. Going from 72 to 36. 3-0.
I don't know. Your Urshela's in the on-deck circle, and I mean, it's a right-hand hitter, but Ford's got to be the guy you want. He's hitting on the interstate. He's struggling.
I think he's going to be swinging 3-0, though. I've seen him a couple times this year swinging 3-0.
And there's ball 4, and so Urshela will come up with 2 men on. Second walk of the inning issued by Miguel Castro. And Jeremy Hefner is going to pay him a visit before he throws another pitch. Urshela's another guy who's got excellent numbers against Castro, 3 for 6, including a home run. Chirinos doing most of the talking. Well, the stolen base by Hicks changes the defense, right?
It does, and this is before the steal, obviously. You see Hicks at first base, and you see the infield, the middle infielders looking. They're playing. Now, after the steal, same batter. They got to guard that third base a little bit more. We see this all the time now. It's just the changes in the game.
So now Urshela with 2 out and 2 on. 1 for 2 and a walk. Lined out to left field his last time up. And a first pitch slider out of the strike zone, ball 1. Met pitchers have now walked 7 today. Zellman walked 4, Shreve walked 1, and now Castro has walked 2. And that ties the season high for most walks allowed by the Mets.
I wouldn't be too worried about Hicks at second base. There's 2 outs.
Yeah.
And I would play second base back. McNeil, just play back.
1-1 to Urshela.
It is interesting, though, that Castro's on the mound, coming from an American League East team, so facing these Yankees a lot, and 3 of the 5 hitters he's faced so far have hit a home run off him.
Yep.
Right?
A lot of good numbers.
Strange.
Urshela hits it hard through the hole, base hit. Hicks around third, being waved home. Dom Smith makes the throw to the plate. It's too late. Throw down to third base and safe. As Ford arrives there safely, and the Yankees go back in front. Gio Urshela with a 2-out RBI hit, and the Yankees lead it 5-4.
Well, Urshela really is. This is a rainbow throw in here. Urshela's got to be on second base. Big wide turn by Hicks, but speed conquers all.
And, you know, you've got to hit the cutoff man here if you're Dom. Why? Hicks is like a track athlete. There's no way you're going to throw him out at home. Got to know the runner.
So this is clearly a ball over. No one can cut this ball off. And where's Urshela? He should be on second base. And just got ahead of the tag
Close
there.
play.
I tell you what, if it's a throw, Urshela.
Oh, he's got a bad leg, Keith.
Yep. He got hurt. Looks like, did he get hurt? He's still in the game.
So the Yankees go back in front. A game they once led 4-0. Now they lead 5-4. Here's Brett Gardner, and he fouls it away. So Urshela now 4 for 7 against Miguel Castro, and that's a big hit to put the Yankees back in front. Mets got even with 2-out RBI hits, and the Yankees regained the lead with a 2-out RBI hit. This is a guy that Castro's done great against. Gardner's 0 for 9 against Miguel Castro. Brett is 0 for 2 in a walk today. 4 to third. Urshela at first with 2 down. Justin Wilson getting up in the Mets bullpen, with Castro about to throw his 25th pitch of the inning, working a second straight day. Wilson worked yesterday as well. Tight to Gardner, 2-1. Gardner pulls one under the glove of Alonso and down the line off the sidewall. Ford is in to score. Urshela will be stopped at third. And Brett Gardner arrives safely at second. It's 6-4 Yankees as the ball went right under the glove of Pete Alonso and down the line.
Well, that could have been a 2-run double right there. Fortunate for the Mets. And Gardner, just a little pesky hitter, been struggling. This is a big. Pete's on the line. Oh, he came up, got under his glove.
Pete's defense has really suffered the last few days. Made an error earlier in this game. He's made an error in 3 straight games, and that's a ball
He was
in position for. So 2 runs home in the inning, 2 more in scoring position. Kyle Higashioka will be the batter. He's 1 for 3 today. So the walks have come back to bite Miguel Castro. He walked 2. They both come in to score. Yet to hear a scoring decision on that last play.
Oh, it's got to be a double.
You sure?
Yes. He didn't get a glove on it. It's hit too hard, Gary. If you're scoring, you give me an error in that, Gary, I come up in the booth after you.
Except that the score is not on site this year, Keith. You'd have to go to the guy's house.
If you didn't make that play, I'd be coming after you.
Okay, I sense a difference of opinion.
No, coming after Keith. Coming after Keith,
That's
not
what,
you. Oh.
that's what I'm saying. I sense that the two of you have a difference of opinion.
Coming from different parts of the game, right?
1-2 to Higashioka. They have ruled it a double, Keith.
Correctly.
And Brett Gardner, who's hitting under 180, will be very happy.
Yes. Yeah, let's see if this run, let's see if that run near Urshela on third, let's see if that factors into the final in this game. He should have been on second base in that rainbow throw by Dom.
I'm with Ronnie. He was not running well first to third. He does not look 100%. Here's the play at first base.
Oh, he just came up. He's there, and he came up.
Ronnie's right. You would have had that.
Well, I booted a few in my day, you know.
2-2 coming. Higashioka carves one out to right center. Overcomes Conforto. And he puts it away to retire the side. But the Yankees play to pair and lead it at the seventh inning stretch. 6-4 Yankees. Carmelo Anthony in a Knicks uniform again. Here's some fresh info on the possibility of his return to New York on the latest episode of SNY.TV's digital series, The Putback with Ian Begley. Check it out now on SNY.TV. Pete Alonso not happy with himself.
He's always hard on himself.
Certainly a ball he thought he should have had. Chad Green is on to pitch for the Yankees as we go to the bottom of the seventh.
Well, Green had 2 outings against the Mets. One forgettable, as he allowed 3 home runs, and one more like Chad Green. In the latter part of that series, he was outstanding with 3 strikeouts.
Luis Guillorme will pinch hit for New York for the Mets, batting for Robinson Chirinos. And Guillorme takes up and in from Green 1-0. Luis hitting a very impressive 410. Got the start in the first game in Baltimore on Tuesday. Had a couple of hits, drove in a run.
Oh, nice curve.
Takes the curve for a strike, 1-1. So Adam Ottavino worked an inning in relief. Got the side 1-2-3 with a strikeout. He's now pitcher of record on the long side. Jeff McNeil on deck, and then J.D. Davis for the Mets in the seventh. And Guillorme swings and misses at a fastball, and it's 1-2. Justin Wilson is back up in the Mets bullpen after a forgettable inning for Miguel Castro. How many 30-pitch innings have we seen today?
Yeah.
And that comes inside to Guillorme, 2-2.
Be quite a pitch count for both clubs at the end of the day after 9 innings today.
Well, the way I think about it is we're paying tribute to Tom Seaver today. If Seaver were pitching, the game would have been over 45 minutes ago. And Guillorme is down on strikes, and that's how the bottom of the seventh begins. Road Ahead is presented by Buick, the flagship station for New York Mets baseball on the radio is WCBS News Radio 880. The Phillies, who are red hot, winners of 8 of their last 9. They come to town tomorrow night for the first of 4, including a Labor Day game Monday afternoon. Then the Orioles in for a return engagement Tuesday and Wednesday. And then the Mets shuffle off to Buffalo to play the Blue Jays next weekend.
Sounds like it should be a song. Shuffle off to Buffalo.
I believe it is a song. Off we're gonna shuffle. Fly ball out to center field. And Hicks is right there waiting. And McNeil is retired, and quickly there are 2 out. Shuffle off to Buffalo.
You got it.
Buffalo shuffle.
Here's J.D. Davis, who's over 2 in a walk today. Green lost his footing a little bit. SNY Super Slow Motion brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing. We saw. Don't poke yourself in the eye, Don. What time was it? It's the wrong time to throw that pitch. 1-1 to JD.
I guess that pitch was a little bit too outside for Mr. Fairchild.
Sometimes in the late innings, those things change, Keith. Michael Conforto would be next. When the Mets hit the 3 home runs in 1 inning against Chad Green in the first game at Yankee Stadium, it was Alonso, Smith, and Marisnick. Davis grounds one slowly. Urshela on the charge and throws perfectly. Well, that's a great shot, right? Tom Seaver with Mets original owner Joan Payson. One there with Ronnie.
Look at young Ron.
I have that in one in my office.
Yogi Berra.
That had to be 73.
Manager in 73 is
Gil.
other manager, Gil Hodges.
Rusty
Staub and his
Bud.
roommate, Bud Harrelson.
Buddy, Russ.
Oh, I love that picture.
I do too.
Justin Wilson on to pitch in the 8th inning. Wilson Ramos in to catch.
Wilson gave up a couple of runs in yesterday's ball game, both unearned. First batter faced, very strange number for very successful Wilson.
Threw 25 pitches yesterday, and yet is right back out there today.
I mean, it's interesting that we'll double up with Castro, double up with Wilson.
Well, the Mets are a little short
Yeah.
pitching-wise right now. They're
Right.
carrying only 13 pitchers, and 6 of them are starters. So, you know, in a year where most teams are carrying 10 relievers, the Mets are really carrying only 7 right now. You see Ramos behind the plate after Chirinos left for a pinch hitter. So it is truly the Wilson-Ramos battery. Tyler Wade had an RBI single back in the second, 1 for 3 on the day. And he chases the cutter for strike 3. And Wilson has a strikeout to start his 8th inning. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by Tri Honda. Contact your local Honda dealer for a great deal today. By HSS, the official hospital of the New York Mets. And by Buick. Experience the new Buick with a test drive at your local Buick dealer. Here's DJ LeMahieu, who's 0 for 3. And he lines one into right center for a base hit. Over is Marisnick to try and cut it off. LeMahieu's going to try for 2 and make it easily. So it's a 1-out double for DJ LeMahieu.
Well, that's a patent line drive we've seen over the years out of LeMahieu. Using, I don't know why I would not play him so much up the middle at second base, but they are. Marisnick cuts it off. Not a strong throw in, no chance. But he stays low, with the hands back. And he kind of falls back on his swing a little bit on his back foot. But he's so doggone strong.
Broke his bat and wound up with a double. Here's Luke Voigt.
Voigt looking every pitch to kind of lift and separate.
Time for the major league lead in home runs. That's a double today. Luke Voigt, who changed his number this year to number 59 to honor his brother, who was a football player at Army and wore number 59. That one kicks away from Ramos, and that'll get LeMahieu over to third.
Oh, that's going to be a wild pitch because it was in the dirt. But when you're on your knee, I just don't think you can be on one knee when there's runners on base.
Well, it's a clear delineation. We saw earlier in the game the quickness with which Chirinos was able to get down and block a ball, and Ramos just does not have that same flexibility.
And the infield's got to come in, and it is. And this is a big run to drive in right here for the Yankees.
2-1 to Voit, and he bounces one down toward third. That is a foul ball.
LeMahieu
Frazier thought it was fair, but the home plate umpire, Chad Fairchild, ruled it foul.
LeMahieu almost got caught in a strange place. I thought that Frazier was going to be able to tag him for a second. Look.
Oh, I better get back.
That's a good call. That was
a foul ball.
Yep.
2-2 to Voit.
It's a real battle here. Wilson knows he's got to strike out, retire, Voit, pop up, something. Can't allow another run to score, and Voit just the opposite. Knows this is a big run for the Yankees. Good battle.
2-2 coming. And he runs that fastball inside, full count. Aaron Hicks, the on-deck batter.
Corner outfielders for the Mets are really, I feel, shallow, and Marisnick's playing a kind of a deep center field. I mean, this is a guy that's got some pop here. Voit, he's leading the league in home runs. Tied for it, at least.
Just got a piece of that cutter. Three-two coming. And he breaks his bat as he fouls one away. And he'll go back for a new one.
Yeah, he needs some of that stick 'em on the new bat.
New bat. Put it above the handle, because that way you can go to it, grab a little talc, some stickiness, and then go back to the grip.
Ninth pitch coming from Wilson to Voit. And he walked him. So now the Yankees have runners at the corners with one out. That is the 8th walk issued by Met pitchers. That's a season high.
8 walks, 7 hits.
So now, how do you play your infield for Hicks?
I would be halfway, a shallow halfway,
Yeah.
and up the middle, Gary.
Gary, he's very fast, but from the right side of the dish, he takes a big cut. He won't get out of the box as quick as he does from the left side. So you want to play for a double play up the middle.
And they are playing back. They are playing back for 2.
Hicks has walked twice, stolen a base, scored a run, otherwise 0 for 2 today. And he hits one through the hole, a base hit, and that'll bring in the run. LeMahieu trots in to score. Aaron Hicks wastes no time. First pitch RBI single, and the Yankees now have a 3-run lead at 7-4.
Fastball first pitch.
Well, if Hicks was watching, he saw the right-handed hitters all got a lot of fastballs, middle of the plate in from Wilson, and he was ready.
Now Clint Frazier with 2 men on, still only 1 out.
Ooh, I see Phil. Here's the base hit again. Let's see what the ball. They want it in, and this is over the middle. Oh, it's a cutter that didn't cut.
Yeah.
Just stayed over the middle and down. Inner half. I see Philadelphia tied it up in the 8th, bottom of the 8th, Garrett.
Fielder's choice grounder brought in the tying run, 5-5 with the Nats.
It's scoreboard watching time, isn't it?
I think it has been since opening day.
Yes, oddly enough.
Just 22 games to go after today. And the Phillies are coming in here tomorrow night after their game at home against the Nats today. And Frazier goes down on strikes. Wilson throws a fastball by him for the second out. So Wilson's fanned a pair. Now 2 on and 2 out.
Oh, that's something on it.
Upstairs.
Yankees led 4-0. Mets got a run in the second and 3 in the fourth to tie. Well, the Yankees with 2 in the seventh on Miguel Castro and now 1 here in the eighth off Justin Wilson to make it a 7-4 game. And now Mike Ford bats with 2 out and 2 on. Ford is 0 for 3 and a walk today. And he takes the fastball up and away for ball 1. There's the score in Philadelphia.
Yeah. Summer sprint. 2020-22.
Did you feel as though the player in the summer sprint graphic there is running particularly fast?
He's running.
Did it look more like a summer trot?
More of a trot.
Or canter?
I like when we go to the summer sprint, but it takes forever to get to the jogger. Here we go. Knew it.
Oh, it's
Told you it
raining.
was coming.
Okay.
Oh, no. This is more than just a little. But we'll see.
Popped up in foul ground. And Frazier will watch it go out of play on the 10th.
The grounds crew is starting to move a little bit down there.
Not with any particular urgency,
No,
though.
You're right.
Just making sure they have all their ducks in a row, so to speak. One-two coming to Ford. And he hits it past the mound. Rosario right at the bag and gets the force to end the inning. But the changes to the Yankees as we go to the bottom of the eighth. DJ LeMahieu moves over to first base. Tyro Estrada comes into play second. Mike Tauchman into play right. And the veteran left-hander Zach Britton is on to pitch in the bottom of the eighth.
Well, he did a lot of heavy lifting for the Yankees when Chapman had the COVID positive. But then he injured his hamstring and went on the injured list on August 7th. Pitched 2 days ago against the Tampa Bay Rays, a clean eighth inning.
He'll come in to try to protect a 3-run lead in the bottom of the eighth. Mets will have 3, 4, and 5 in the order. Conforto, Frazier, and Smith coming up. And still have plenty of left-hand hitting in the dugout, but not so much right-hand hitting.
That's why Britton's in the game. You saw that with Baltimore, Gary, right?
Right.
When they brought in Fry and Tanner Scott.
So the plan, I would assume, for Aaron Boone is Britton in the eighth and Chapman in the ninth and keep those Mets lefty bats where they are. 2-0 to Conforto. StatCast presented by Verizon Fios, the 100% fiber optic network.
Usually don't say this with a hitter of Conforto's, how good of a hitter he is, but I would take a strike here. Britton can lose control of the strike zone. Need some base runners.
He comes with that nasty sinker, and it's 2-1.
That is wicked.
It's that sinker that at one time established Britton as the best relief pitcher in the game. 2016 in Baltimore,
Yeah.
he saved 47 games and had a 0.54 ERA that year. Hit sharply on the backhand. Wade able to come up with it and throws out Conforto. Nice play by Wade.
I'll say nice play. Defense, it counts. He had to deal with that little cut in the grass there. The outfield, he's playing deep. He goes back further into the outfield grass. And you always worry about that that cut, the lip there, it's just, it's no fun.
Lip's not what it used to be, though.
Right. No, it's putting greens now, you're right.
No collagen injections in these lips.
Oh. That's a first on our broadcast.
Really? Grass has got to get a little older here.
Todd Frazier, 2 for 3 in his return to Citi Field. An opposite field home run in the second. He doubled to left and scored in the fourth. And then Urshela made a terrific play going behind the bag and throwing him out. And he tries Urshela again, and this time gets it by him and down the line. And Frazier's got his third extra base hit of the day. So Todd Frazier in his second game back with the Mets, his first game back at Citi Field, having himself a big afternoon and evening. 3 for 4 with 2 doubles and a home run.
Right down the line.
Got that bat head out.
So the Mets have their 9th hit of the day. A 1-out double for Frazier. And now Dom Smith coming up.
What's that all about, the umpire doing down there?
I'm not sure.
Dom has got an 0 for 3 going and has hit the ball 3 bullets.
Lined out twice. Ball 1 to Smith. Dom got a day off yesterday against the lefty. Was back in the lineup today. He's hitless in his last 9 at-bats. His first 0-for of the season of any consequence. Edwin Diaz up in the Mets bullpen, getting ready for the top of the 9th. And slider off the plate, 2-0. Geico Sports Night tonight at 11. Much more on the life and death of Tom Seaver. Steve Nash,
Yes.
Brooklyn Nets coach. Where'd that come from? And the Islanders continue play in the Stanley Cup playoffs. All on Geico Sports Night tonight at 11. I guess Nash is close with Kevin Durant. Is that what I heard?
Yes.
And Kyrie Irving.
I think he's close with the GM, which is even more important than Durant, Gary.
Well, he was a great player. I heard from a scout that Steve Nash could have been a great baseball player.
I heard soccer player.
Guess he's just
Also
a really good athlete.
Yep.
Bounce foul, 2-2.
If you, I'm sorry, go ahead, Ron.
No, inconsequential. Go.
I was just going to mention to look at Dom, how relaxed he is at the plate when he stands up there. He kind of just moves his hands. He's got no tight grip on the bat. But when the pitcher gets ready to throw, he gets set. He just seems very confident and relaxed. A little bit of that movement of the hands, but then he gets set.
And that slider missed inside. 3-2. Mets need one more base runner to get the tying run to the plate with Pete Alonso waiting on deck. Frazier at second with 1 out. 3-2 from Britton to Smith. And Dom takes a walk, and the Mets will get the tying run to the plate with Alonso coming up.
Not even close with that pitch.
Only the second walk by Yankee pitching today. Met pitching has walked 8.
Now you got the big one swing, can have a tie ball game. That is just a no-no.
Not a fun day for Alonso so far. Struck out twice and grounded out. Made an error in the field.
You can do the big redeemer here.
Yeah, chance to erase all of that with one swing. As Bob Murphy always said, It's a game of redeeming features.
Oh.
Frazier at second, Smith at first with one out. And Britton has to check the cap to find out what the sign sequence is.
Thank goodness.
You know,
No.
kind of like Britton, he pitched in the big leagues for how many years before they started with the cards?
Yeah.
I don't know. And Pete flicks one out to right field, and right there is Talkman. And that's the second out. So another frustrating day for Pete Alonso. Now just 4 for his last 42. Jake Marisnick will be the batter. Jake had an RBI double back in the fourth. 1 for 3 on the day. He has 1 hit in 2 career at-bats against Zach Britton. Frazier at second, Smith at first with 2 out. And Marisnick pulls one to the hole, smothered by Wade, throw to second, and he's safe. They may want to review that.
I thought he beat it.
Yeah?
Wade with a tremendous play to save a run in the hole and then almost get an out.
And they got no right-hander up.
And they are not going to challenge the call, so it's an infield hit from Marisnick to load the bases.
Just a fine play by Wade. And look how quick he gets up. Good effort. And Dom hustling down that line as he should.
You just beat it.
Wow, bang, bang. Good hustle.
Well,
So now the tying runs are on base for Ahmed Rosario, who's 2 for 3 today. He's driven in a run. Bases loaded, 2 down. And
Whoa.
way outside, ball 1.
just hung it a little.
Frazier at third, Smith at second, Marisnick at first with 2 down. Mets down 7-4 in the 8th. Rosario toward the right side hole. Estrada can't get it, base hit. In to score comes Frazier. Smith will score as well. Marisnick to third. It's 7-6. Ahmed Rosario with his 3rd hit of the day drives in a pair, and the Mets pull it within 1.
Another 2-out rally for the Mets here. They have gotten hits with men on base. That ball just a sinker right down the pipe. Going that way, all the way. Good hitting.
And Estrada just into the game for defense. Couldn't quite get there. So now the tying run is at third. The potential go-ahead run is at first with 2 out. And Wilson Ramos will bat for the first time in the game. For Ahmed Rosario, his first 3-hit game this year. He's driven in 3 runs, and he's gotten the Mets to the precipice.
Just surprised that the Yankees did not have a right-hander ready.
Ramos, 2 for 4 yesterday. First at bat today, and he bounces one over the mound right to the bag where Estrada gets the force, and that retires the side. All right, thanks, Gary. Today's pitchers brought to you by Toyota. Robert Gazelman didn't last long. Jason Shreve and J. Reese Familia were great in relief. Miguel Castro and Justin Wilson not so much. Mets down by a run, playing in the rain as we go to the ninth. Edwin Diaz will come on to pitch. Diaz last pitched against the Marlins on Monday, a scoreless inning. Gio Urshela leads off and takes a strike. Urshela's had a big hand in this game with his bat and his glove. He had the hit that put the Yankees back in front in the seventh, a 2-out RBI single. He's 2 for 3 and a walk. And he's late on the fastball from Diaz, and it's 0-2. This is the hardest that it has rained at any point today. Grounds crew at the ready if need be. We say play on. Brett Gardner on deck. Aroldis Chapman getting ready for the save chance in the bottom of the ninth. Mets will have the top of the batting order coming up. And the fastball up and away to Urshela. When last Edwin Diaz saw the Yankees, it was in game one of the doubleheader on Sunday. He gave up the tying home run to Hicks and the game-winning hit to Urshela. And it's outside, 3-2. So after Edwin got ahead 0-2, he runs a full count. Urshela is trying to keep that bat dry. Gardner and Higashioka are the next two scheduled hitters. Three-two, and he walked him. Wow. Got ahead 0-2, and he walked him, leading off in the top of the ninth. That is 9 walks issued by Met pitchers today.
I'd have to say the conditions are they're getting worse and worse, eh?
Now Brett Gardner, who had an RBI double in the seventh inning, 1 for 3 on the day. And Gardner with a half swing and a miss, 0-1. Gardner 0 for 5 in his career against Diaz. Frazier remaining in on the grass at third, not convinced that Gardner's not going to try and bunt.
Well, he has to respect the bunt.
And the slider at his feet, 1-1. Mets were down 4-0, tied it up. Yankees went up 7-4. Mets scratched back a couple in the bottom of the eighth. We're now in the ninth. And Gardner's late on the fastball, and it's 1-2. One-two coming. Got him looking, and there's the first out of the inning. So Diaz gets Gardner looking at a fastball in the inside corner. 1 out and 1 on.
He wanted it away, and he got it on the other inside corner down and in.
Caught a lot of the plate.
So Diaz with the strikeout, and now Kyle Higashioka. And the slider low and away as Ramos backhands it. 1-0. Higashioka singled back in the second and scored a run. He's 1 for 4 today. Chapman getting ready in the bullpen. McNeil, Davis, and Conforto due to bat for the Mets in the bottom of the ninth. And then if anybody gets on, Todd Frazier, who already has 3 extra base hits today. I got a good one for you.
Okay.
Before this season, Todd Frazier had never had a game in his career with 3 extra base hits. He's done it twice now this year. Once with Texas and now once with the Mets.
Shocking that one of those nights where he hit a couple of homers, right?
Have one of those Alex Dickerson kind of nights. 2-1 to Higashioka. Mets will have 2 left-handed bats among their first 3 hitters due up against Chapman.
Davis gets a chance at revenge.
After getting drilled in the hip by Chapman on Saturday. Mets already have a walk-off against Chapman in the last week. Tomorrow, the Phillies are in town for the first of 4 over the Labor Day weekend. Rick Porcello opens the series against Jake Arrieta tomorrow night. Our coverage begins at 6:30 right here on SNY.
Collision in the division.
They are in extra innings now at Citizens Bank Park, colliding in the same division.
I remember that.
And he got him looking. Back-to-back strikeouts for Diaz as Higashioka took the fastball. And there are 2 men down.
He's not getting his slider over, but he's getting his fastball over.
So 2 out. Urshela still at first, and now Tyler Wade, who's 1 for 4. Single to drive and a run back in the second. He fouls back the fastball, 0-1.
Wade's had a good game. I know he's got a couple strikeouts, but base hit, scored in the second. Some fine defensive plays.
One coming to Wade. And he has to move his feet on a 100-mile-an-hour fastball. 2-1. Mets view 6 pitchers today. They were hoping for a longer start out of Robert Gazelman, but he did not get out of the second inning. Threw 42 pitches in the second inning before he was pulled, and that's forced the Mets to go deep into their bullpen at a time when their bullpen is not very deep. And Wade takes a strike, and it's 2-2. DJ LeMahieu would be next. This is the guy that Diaz wants to get through this inning. Urshela at first with 2 down. 2-2 to Wade. And he struck him out on a foul tip. 3 strikeouts in a row for Diaz after a leadoff walk. And that'll send us to the bottom of the 9th. Chapman coming in. Mets down by a run. Lottery. Aroldis Chapman taking the mound while appealing his 3-game suspension that was imposed after his dust-up with the Tampa Bay Rays the other night.
That's the numbers. Chapman hasn't pitched in a lot of games, of course, coming back from COVID.
Gave up a game-winning home run to Ahmed Rosario over the weekend. Then Tuesday, threw one over the head of Mike Brosseau. And that was really close. That earned him a 3-game suspension that he's appealing. Brosseau hit 2 home runs the next day. Both managers got suspended for a game. And that was in the wake of Chapman having drilled J.D. Davis in the hip. J.D. Davis will be the 2nd man up in the inning. So a lot going on. Jeff McNeil's 2 for 4 today. He's driven in a run. Mets down by a run in the 9th. And Chapman misses with his first fastball. Ball 1.
You've got McNeil, handles the bat well, uses the opposite field. He's a leadoff hitter. He's trying to get on base. And you've got the shortstop, Wade, up the middle. I just don't want to give him that too much of that left side of the infield.
McNeil lays off, and Chapman 95 miles an hour on that fastball. That's not Chapman-esque. 2-0. It's a guy who used to throw 103, 104. Now he's been more in the 98, 99 category. First two fastballs not there. And that fastball at 95, judged to be a strike, even though it appeared to be outside.
Yeah, he got the call.
And Jeff McNeil unhappy with Chad Fairchild, who's had a good deal of unhappiness directed his way today. Davis and Conforto to follow as the Mets try and pull one out of their final turn at bat. And McNeil goes after the changeup and misses, and it's 2-2.
Just pulled off here, and that slider had a lot of plate. Remember, Jeff's trying to stay back. You can see he's out in front. Took a little off that slider. I think more of the off-speed fooled him than the actual break of the pitch.
Only Chapman's 5th appearance of the year. Two coming, and he bounces that slider. 3-2. You could see at the game that he lost against the Mets when Rosario took him deep that he was uneasy on the mound. Normally when Chapman has his good stuff, he projects incredible confidence on the mound.
Yeah, he's a bully out there. He just knows that you cannot physically time him when he's throwing the ball over 100 miles an hour. He's now back to earth.
3-2 coming to McNeil. And he missed inside with a slider for ball 4. And the Mets have the tying run aboard. So Chapman, throwing a lot of breaking stuff in that at bat, winds up walking McNeil. And Billy Hamilton will run from McNeil at first base, carrying the tying run.
Chance of redemption again for J.D. Davis. And Hamilton, always a stolen base threat.
Now the track's going to be a little slow because it's raining. It'll be interesting to see whether Billy tries to time Chapman and steal a base here.
It's also going to be a little slow for Higashioka, too.
J.D.'s 0 for 3 today after getting drilled in the hip by Chapman last Saturday. Missed a couple of days. Came back yesterday. And a fastball catches the corner, 0-1. And Chapman didn't even look at Hamilton.
And Davis uses the opposite field well as a good situational hitter. And he's got that right side of the infield wide open to set up a first and third.
Does not have a good move, Chapman. Usually when he goes to the plate, he'll tuck that knee, and the knee will go behind his left leg, and it's time to go if you want to steal the base. Higashioka has a good arm, very good arm.
Hamilton, one of the elite base stealers in the game, measuring out his lead. He's going, and he's picked off. The throw by LeMahieu, and he is safe. They call him balk, and Hamilton's safe at second. It's a balk charge to Chapman, and the Mets have the tying run in scoring position.
Well, it definitely was a balk. I was telling you that he brings that knee behind his left leg, but Hamilton left so early, he was able to make an adjustment. You can't do it. Once you cross that leg over, you got to go home.
So it's a balk charge to Chapman.
He let him get a walk, kind of a walking lead. Not really, nope.
And it was immediately called by the first base umpire, Paul Nart.
No argument by anyone.
So now a base hit could tie it for the Mets. A 1-strike count to Davis. Second career balk for Aroldis Chapman. His first one came 4 years ago.
Third's easier to steal than second.
There goes Hamilton. Throw by Higashioka, and he is out at third base.
No, that's the second time he's done that. Good grief.
The Mets are going to challenge the call, but Hamilton's already gone in the dugout. He knows he's out.
Nice throw.
Well, you've got to be safe.
With nobody out. Don't want to make the first out at third base.
He's out.
Tag by Urshela clearly on the arm of Hamilton before he got to the bag. Terrific throw by Higashioka.
Still, if you steal the base, you've got to be safe.
Didn't have a great jump. Didn't
And
have a
slow
great
track. You're right about the slow track too. He wasn't moving like he usually does.
You can't steal. I don't care if you're Flash in the comic strips.
And they confirm the call at third base. So there's the first out in the bottom of the ninth and a huge play. You know, and I can't speak for Billy Hamilton, but when you are reduced to being a pinch runner, I would think that it makes you maybe a little over-aggressive trying to make something happen.
Trying to earn your keep?
Yep. So 1 out, a 2-strike count to Davis with Conforto on deck, with the deck now cleared for Chapman after a walk and a balk.
My feeling is this, Gary. You're brought in to pinch run. You've already done your job.
Yeah.
You would have had a stolen base, or you got a balk. You got into scoring position. You got 3 guys behind you, 2, 3, and 4.
J.D. hits it out to center field. Hicks giving ground to the warning track. It's out here! J.D. Davis ties the game! Davis dead central against Aroldis Chapman, and the Mets get even. It's 7-7 in the ninth.
Redemption.
A shot to the hip on Saturday. A shot over the wall in center into the black on Thursday.
Right down the pipe fastball, and he clobbered it.
5th home run of the year for J.D. Davis. 2nd home run allowed by Chapman, both against the Mets. Rosario on Friday, and now Davis to tie it. And now Conforto takes a strike.
Hicks fooled me there. The ball off the bat, he didn't race back to center field, but after he saw its trajectory, then he tried to make up for it, but it was long gone.
Conforto is 0 for 4 today after his big day in Baltimore yesterday. And he swings through the fastball, and it's 0-2.
Just no overswing.
Mets have come all the way back twice. They were down 4-0, and they tied it up. They were down 7-4 going to the bottom of the 8th, and they've tied it up. Conforto takes one the other way for a base hit. A little half swing on the slider by Michael. And he's got his first hit of the day, and the Mets have the potential winning run aboard with 1 out.
So Frazier comes up with a chance to be a hero here. Well, here's the half swing. The hanging slider. Well, just a little flick of the wrist. No follow through. Very compact, short swing.
Well, Todd Frazier's already had a happy homecoming today. He homered in the 2nd. He doubled in the 4th. He doubled in the 8th. Looking for his first career 4 extra base hit game. Trying to get Conforto home from first with the winning run. And Todd takes a slider for a strike. Frazier 0 for 6 in his career against Aroldis Chapman. Rain coming down pretty good. Chapman got fortunate when Hamilton was thrown out trying to steal, but Davis made him pay with a tying home run. And now it's 0-2 to Frazier.
Oh. We always say don't throw it. Right down the middle.
Yeah, he liked that one.
Yeah.
That hip hurt a lot. The pain is all gone now.
It's too bad it wasn't a walk-off.
Now Chapman has Frazier in an 0-2 hole. And he gets him with a slider. And that's the second out. That Mets home run means City will donate $2,000 to No Kid Hungry to help fight childhood hunger. Now more than ever, kids across America need our help.
Looks like Philadelphia's got a runner on third and one out, Garen, at bottom of the 10th at 5-5. Now first and third, probably going to load the bases.
Well, they started with a runner at second.
Oh, that's right.
Here's Dom Smith, who's 0 for 3 and a walk. Conforto at first with 2 out. And Dom takes a slider inside for ball 1. Never seen Chapman throw this many sliders.
Yep. He got the one fastball. The first fastball he threw after the home run to Conforto was 98. He got mad.
The 2016 World Series, he threw a lot of sliders.
Yes,
but that was
he did.
about the third inning. He was out there.
Right. He was on fumes by that point.
Yeah. Well, he got away with one there. Dom had one right in the wheelhouse and missed it, fouled it back.
If we go to the 10th, Tyler Wade would be the Yankees' free runner, so that works out well for them. One and one to Dom Smith. And he gets decked.
He didn't swing. And that wasn't close. Close just a little bit. Dropping in.
Close enough.
Trying to cover that outside corner, though, you're going to leave yourself exposed a little bit. That's how it works.
Got to pull the ripcord there and get out. Get out of Dodge.
The Yankees 7 runs, 8 hits. The Mets 7 runs, 13 hits. I believe they called that a strike. They said he swung.
No.
Yep. Third base umpire Roberto Ortiz called it a strike.
I don't like that call. You know, he had the swing checked. It's just that once he fell, the bat will go through.
That's no swing.
No swing.
That's
not even close to a swing.
not even close.
Got to really address that with the umpires.
We
The
saw
ball's
that
at
happen
your-
a couple of times last year where Mets were hit by pitches and got called.
If the ball
unswing.
is at your face and you're bailing out, those are two separate occurrences. The check swing and the bailout. They're two different parts of the at bat.
It certainly changes the equation here. 1 and 2 instead of 2 and 1. Conforto at first with 2 out. There goes Conforto. Smith strikes out, and we're going to extra inning. Play their 4th extra inning game. They've yet to win one. Each half inning begins with a runner at second base. The guy who made the last out. An advantage Yankees in this 10th inning because the guy who made the last out in the 9th for them was Tyler Wade, who was very fast. The Mets last out made by Dom Smith, who is not. Mets might opt to use a pinch runner in the bottom of the 10th, depending on how this top of the 10th goes. Meanwhile, Andres Jimenez comes in at second base because Jeff McNeil left for the pinch runner Billy Hamilton.
Right.
Mets still have Nimmo and Cano left in the dugout, so presumably they could use Nimmo as a pinch runner in the bottom of the inning. Meanwhile, the grounds crew having to work on the mound because it has been raining for the better part of an hour. This game is nearly 4 hours old. The Yankees have played 2 extra inning games. They were both on Sunday against the Mets, and they won them both. Not sure what Aaron Boone is asking about. The Yankees have 2 players left on their bench. They're both catchers. Gary Sanchez, who won a game, and extra innings against the Mets on Sunday with a pinch hit grand slam, and Eric Kratz.
I never personally liked pitching once they put this, I don't want to say the name of it because someone's going to get their nose out of joint because I'm not calling it the right thing, but I didn't like pitching on this stuff because it became, I found it very slippery.
Really?
As opposed to the clay that is on the mound where it's really sticky.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Edwin Diaz is going out for a second inning of work. We've talked all day about how short the Mets are in the bullpen, especially with Gazelman having worked just an inning and 2/3 today. So Diaz, who has not gone further than an inning and a third this year, is going to be asked to pitch a second inning. The only rested guy in that bullpen is Jared Hughes, who did not pitch yesterday and presumably is available, but we don't know that for sure.
I don't think Chapman's going to go an extra one.
Neither do I.
Well, the Yankees have,
They got plenty.
they've got 2 more relief
Yeah.
pitchers than the Mets do.
Yeah, they got plenty down there.
Advantage Yankees, a lot of speed on second. LeMahieu up.
LeMahieu is 1 for 4 in a sacrifice fly and a double his last time up and swings over a slider, 0-1.
He's the perfect,
Diaz pitched the ninth, walked the leadoff hitter, then struck out the next 3.
he's the perfect guy to have up because he goes the other way to get the runner over.
You got Luke Voigt on deck and then Aaron Hicks behind him. And LeMahieu takes a fastball for a strike, and Diaz has him down in the count 0-2. Well, last year, nobody in baseball had a higher average with runners in scoring position than LeMahieu.
Well, all he got to do now, he's 0-2 now. He's really has to choke up here a little bit maybe and just really focus on making contact, getting the runner over.
And Ramos has got to be stellar behind the plate here if it's a slider down.
0-2. And he just got enough of that slider in the dirt to keep it in the neighborhood.
I was a little anxious about that.
Ramos did not start the game, but there was a wild pitch after he came in the 8th inning that he was unable to stop. Rosario shading Wade at second. And LeMahieu punches one the other way. In comes Conforto. It's going to be a double play. Wade took off thinking the ball was going to land. Conforto came in to get it.
Wow, thank you very much. And you know what? You can't do that because there's no outs. Okay? You make sure, come off the bag. And if it's dropped, it's first and third. And that's just not knowing where Conforto is. He just didn't even... oh, well. That's a break for the Mets. So, Muy malo.
So 2 out and nobody on, and Luke Voigt the batter.
Wow.
I mean, that's not on the third base coach.
No, it's not.
It's on the runner. Come on.
It's just...
1-1 to Voigt. And it skips in 2-1.
Get taken out of the game in senior league if you make that mistake.
So base running mistakes on both sides by fast guys. Hamilton trying to steal third with nobody out, gets thrown out. Might have cost the Mets a win in the bottom of the 9th. And now Wade doubled off second base in the top of the 10th. And now it's 2-2 to Voigt. Mets will have Dom Smith as the free runner unless they pinch run. And then Alonso, Marisnik, and Rosario due up. The Yankees have the rookie Albert Abreu up in the bullpen, a right-hander. 2-2 to Voigt. And he fouls it away. Diaz trying to get through a second scoreless inning. Tyler Wade taking off with the crack of the bat, thinking for sure that LeMahieu had a hit. got doubled off second base, and there's Abreu, who may be pitching in the bottom of the 10th. 2-2 to Voit. Fouled away.
I just find it interesting, a guy that plays half his games at Yankee Stadium, you would never assume that ball to right field would ever be hit. You know what I'm saying?
It's an interesting point. I guess he figured, I'm on the road, I can take some more liberties. Not to be.
Well.
Again, the 2-2. And Voit takes it high in a full count.
Boy, Voit gives you a battle at that plate.
He's a strong guy, good upper body strength.
But good plate discipline, too. Knows the strike zone.
Phillies won their game with the Nats 6-5. They're coming to New York. And Voit goes down swinging on the slider. 2 hits. By Verizon Fios. Verizon Fios lets you mix and match your internet and TV plans. This is internet and TV built right. By Northwell Health, who believes that wellness is a journey we take together. And by Geico, you can save an extra 15% when you switch by October 7th. We go to the bottom of the 10th. And 24-year-old Dominican right-hander Albert Abreu will make his second Major League appearance.
Yeah, Abreu did not pitch above Double-A until this year. He was the 29th man a couple of times for double headers, has pitched once.
Now, the Mets have Brandon Nimmo left in the dugout as a prospective pinch runner, but they're going to stick with Dom Smith. They have Nimmo and Cano left on the bench. So interesting that they are not going to pinch run in this spot. I guess they're going to have Nimmo pinch hit for Marisnik.
I think Dom runs well enough for me to score on a base hit. Dom's not a truck horse. Dom gets going. He's fast.
It gives you a couple options, I guess, to pinch hit. You could pinch hit for
You don't know how long.
but boy, I wouldn't pinch hit for Rosario.
Well, the thing about these extra inning games is you don't expect them to last long.
But
right?
they could.
No, not much, not very.
Well, I mean,
much
the
longer.
math doesn't say it should last long.
Right. So Alonso will be the first man up.
It's really raining now, by the way.
Yep.
And they just tossed Abreu his rosin bag, which he might well need.
And there's
And a raincoat. Umbrella.
Hey, one hit and everybody can go get dry.
There you go.
Pete Alonso has had another rough day, 0 for 4 at the plate, an error in the field, a chance to erase all that with one base hit. And I think, what are they going to do? The home plate umpire, Chad Fairchild, walking out.
Oh, something on his sleeve.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought he was considering calling the grounds crew.
No, I think he had some rosin on his sleeve, and they wanted him to get rid of it. Now they're going to give it to LeMahieu.
Okay.
That looked like the scene from Joe Negro with the
With the
sandpaper.
the emery board.
The emery board in
Emery
his
board.
back pocket. Oh, me?
So Smith is the free runner at second. Alonso the batter. 7-7 bottom of the 10th. Robinson Cano is out on deck to bat for Jake Marisnik. And Albert Abreu is ready to go. And Alonso takes a fastball for a strike at 98 miles an hour. It is a chore to stay dry right now. That's driven deep down the left field line toward the stands. It's out of here. Pete Alonso wins it with a walk-off two-run homer in the bottom of the 10th, and the Mets yank it out 9-7. One big swing by Pete erases a day of disappointment, his 8th home run of the year, and the Mets win in walk-off fashion, coming from behind twice. Davis with the home run in the 9th, Alonso in the 10th, and the Mets split the season series with the Yankees as they win it 9-7.
Gary, did you just call a leadoff two-run home run? Is that what I heard? Unbelievable. Great day. Great home run there by Alonso. Good job by Diaz. 2 solid innings.
Well, Alonso's first career walk-off home run Second pitch he saw from Albert Abreu, and he ends a long day of baseball with a very satisfying win on a day that we honor the memory of Tom Seaver.
Well, he gets a fastball and gets the barrel out. Home run number 8. The Mets keep pace with the Phillies, who won tonight.
Mets' second walk-off home run against the Yankees, one in the Bronx by Rosario, and now emphatically won by Pete Alonso in Queens.
8th home run out of Pete.
Knew it right away.
It's a big come from behind win, and most importantly, the home run's very dramatic and wonderful, but the Mets had a lot of two-out rallies, base hits with 2 outs,
Right.
driving in runs. They've been struggling to drive in runs, and they drove them in tonight.
A home run with a runner in scoring position.
It works. And they back away for a distance celebration. Nicely done. Tarp on the field as quickly as possible as the Mets came from 4 runs down to tie, then came from 3 runs down late with 2 in the 8th, the J.D. Davis home run in the 9th, and then the walk-off homer by Pete Alonso in the 10th as they defeat the Yankees 9-7 and win their second straight after a 5-game losing streak. For every Mets win, the Mets organization is proud to contribute $2,500 to Northwell Health and the Cass Institute for Women's Health. For more information, visit northwell.edu/cats. This win brings the total contribution so far this season to $42,500. Mets win it in 10, 9-7 over the Yankees. Lots to celebrate. We'll come back with more from Flushing in just